Hello and welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Energy Podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the PokePad situation at Houston Regionals this weekend. Been a huge point of discussion in the community the last week since our last episode. We'll give our thoughts on it, of course. We're going to talk about a handful of updates around organized play, including new things coming to Pokemon leagues, the scheduled off season this summer, and then also stuff happening with the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live after Perfect Order comes out. We will, of course, have Guess That Flavor Text, everyone's favorite segment of the podcast, regardless of who's winning currently. And then we're going to wrap up this week by talking about the results from Curitiba Regionals, which took place this past weekend. And we're also going to talk about the Houston Regional Championships coming up this weekend. And then after all that is said and done, we're going to get over to our bonus episode exclusive to our YouTube channel members and Spotify subscribers. My name is Trip Ritchie, joined here as always by my friend and co-host, Azul GG. What's up, Azul? How we doing, buddy? How's your week been?
Finally getting over the sickness. It ended up going a little bit longer than I would have liked. I guess I just didn't really ever want to be sick. But honestly, it kind of lined it up pretty well. Because PTCG Live apparently was pretty terrible last week. So not streaming last week doesn't sound bad, but it sounds like things were mostly fixed. Like I did stream today and yesterday. So I didn't really run into like many. I guess like I did have some weird games where my opponents did seem to disconnect. So maybe there are still some issues, of course. But I mean, there's always some issues. There's never no issues on PCG Live, but apparently it was worse than normal um, last week. So kind of lined up perfectly for me to get sick and not stream this last week. But excited for this weekend. We're going to be watch partying Houston, and then rotation is only about a week away, a little bit over a week away, 8 days away until rotation hits PTCG Live. Then obviously 2 weeks after that, it'll be actually impacting IRL tournaments. So yeah, been a pretty chill week. Nothing crazy. What about you? How were things?
Yeah, stuff's going good. We posted a new video over on the Uncommon Energy channel. We call it the second channel, but it's like bigger than this channel now. So I don't know if we really,
Yeah,
it's just the Uncommon Energy channel. I don't know.
yeah.
Which was a fun one, a Elite Trainer Box Challenge video. So if you missed that, go check it out. Apparently, I did a little bit of throwing in one of the games. I don't want to
Yeah.
hang on it too much, but some mistakes were maybe made. I got it. This guy hasn't won enough. I just got to give him some breaks every once in a while.
Need a little
But
bit
that was a
more,
fun one.
whatever I can
Always
get.
fun to get some new videos out there on the second channel. We got plenty more coming, of course. And then I'm actually going to Houston this weekend to play in the regional championships. The first regionals I've played in, I think, over a year at this point. I played at LA regionals or Toronto. I don't remember what most recently I played at, but it's been over a year.
Yeah, you played at what,
Um,
Sacramento, and
Sacramento, yeah.
was that the last one you played in?
I think that was the last one I played in. Yeah,
And
yeah. So hoping to do decently at least. I've not had in the post-COVID time frames. I've played in just a handful of tournaments, and I've not had the best of finishes. So I'm hoping I can just do like okay. I'm gonna try my best, obviously, but I'm gonna try to be realistic as well. And I'm just hoping I can. I hope I can do okay. That's all I'm hoping for. But looking forward to competing. I haven't done that in a while. I generally say when it comes like casting is very much my priority and my focus, and then like after casting is probably like the podcast slash the second channel stuff, right? And then after all that is like trying to compete at standard format Pokemon trading card game events. And honestly, even before competing at those things is probably like getting together with friends and cubing and
yeah.
doing those things, playing old decks as opposed to playing standard. So uh yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'm looking forward to getting out and playing. I like to try to play at least one tournament a year, so this will be my one at least. And yeah, hoping to meet some of you guys there and um play some competitive Pokemon. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be a good one. Should be. I'm actually kind of curious what the reg numbers are at right now.
I can
I don't know how big
check.
this one. I don't know how big this one's going to be in comparison. I feel like. I guess I don't know the registration numbers for. Although I assume it's sold out.
3,361 players registered currently.
Yeah, I assume it's sold out. I assume Orlando also sold out. I don't know the Orlando numbers either. I guess actually I can try and register for Orlando to see, but I guess like I wouldn't be shocked if it didn't sell out because like it is a pre-rotation tournament, like WoW rotation is happening. So
Mhm. Yeah, that
wouldn't
makes
shock
it
me.
odd.
But it is in fact sold out. So I wonder how big Orlando might be the biggest one
Mm,
of the season. Although I feel like part of that kind of just depends on like when the or not when, but like how much space is given to the tournaments. That's almost like the biggest. It's not even so much location, although I feel like Texas and Orlando have the potential to by far be the biggest regionals of the year. It just
yeah.
depends on like the size of the venue at the end of the day, not so much what they could get, which
Yeah,
is
Orlando will probably be the one. Well, Orlando, I feel like, is pretty much always the one where we say like it's the new biggest regionals of all
yeah.
time, right? So I feel like that's probably gonna be the one. Yeah, registered players right now 3,361. I don't.
Although Indianapolis,
Yeah,
forgot that that was
fair is
one of them.
fair.
That could get there. Indianapolis could get there as well. I don't think Los Angeles will get there. But
Also, I
honestly,
went.
even like the West Coast ones have been like really big and they sell out. So I don't even like West Coast ones used to be like tiny in comparison. They used to be like less than half the size um, of East Coast regionals, but now it's like they're getting pretty comparable and they're selling out as well. So yeah, everyone just wants to play Pokemon, I guess. Less events as well in a season.
I did go back and look, and my last regional championships was Sacramento in November of 2024. So well
Ooh,
over a
you
year
skipped.
since my last tournament.
Yeah, I didn't realize you skipped the whole season without playing a
Well,
tournament.
it was November 2024, so it was the 2025 season.
Yeah, yeah, but not you didn't play in a year, a
I
calendar
didn't, yeah,
year,
a whole calendar year, 0 regional championships
no
competed in.
majors.
It's pretty crazy. And I only played in like, I mean, I played some, let's see, 1, 2, 2 in after that season, I played in 2 challenges and 1 cup. And then so far this season, I have played in uh 1, 2, 3, 4 league challenges
Ooh,
and 1 cup.
in those challenge numbers up. Any dubs?
No dubs, no dubs. No, I got top 8 at the cup and lost in cut to a mirror match. I've also got my pre-releases in here. I got second place out of 24 at the Phantasmal Flames pre-release. I'm going to the Perfect Order pre-release as well Wednesday night. So, I'm gonna do one of those. Looking
Do they
forward to it.
do is like the pre-release prize like standardized now for what is like what do you get
No.
for like you get like per win? How do your stores usually do
It
it
dep
or like the store you're
yeah,
going to?
the one I'm going to gives you a few more packs, based on placement. Like, the people who place higher I don't remember what it was last time, but I got more than because I think the standard thing is, like, you get your kit, you play the tournament, and then you get 3 packs afterwards. That's, like, the standard baseline, what you
Yeah,
should get
yeah.
for a pre-release. Um, but I wanna say when I got 2nd, I got maybe, like, 8 packs? I don't remember for sure, to be honest. Um, I definitely got more than 3, so we'll
It's
see.
kind of funny, like, pre-releases have gotten more competitive in terms of, like, the product you're giving gives you a higher
Mhm.
chance of the better player winning, but then the prize support has, like, gone down throughout the years as well. I remember, like, even back in the day, like, I think it was right before I started going to pre-releases, like, you'd get a booster box if you won your pre-release. I think they even maybe they had Top Cut at them, like, the ones before I started playing the game way back in 2009, 2010. But even when I was, like, playing in pre-releases, you get, like, 18 packs if you were, like, number 1 or something like that. Um, that was, like, pretty good, but yeah, there's something I mean, it's not, like, a big deal one way or the other. The product you get is a lot better in terms of just getting good cards, good
I
stuff
am
from the
crossing
set,
my
so
fingers I get the Tyrantrum deck because it seems like that's the broken one to get. I don't know, it feels like more often than
I
usual
thought it was
this
the Doublade one.
this past pre-release, I feel like I've been seeing more, posts about players winning pre-release decks,
Hmm.
than, like, in past sets, but I don't know, it seems like I feel like the sentiment is that the Tyrantrum deck is broken. That guy's got a
Oh,
gajillion
I think
HP.
Yeah, I think it's the better deck, but it has 0 Pokepads, right?
No, it has 4 Pokepads.
I thought that was the Doublade one. You
No,
sure? I think you're
the Dewblade and the Barbaracle one have 2. The
and S
Tyrantrum has 4,
Superior
and
has 0.
Superior has 0 because it
Hmm.
has, bug catching sets.
And you were hating on Tyrantrum. You know what? You're not gonna get the Tyrantrum deck. You were a
In
hater.
Standard,
Y
bro!
Yeah,
You
no,
were
but
trying to
you're
hype
just
that thing
at
up in
all.
Standard.
There's still time, there's still time. Like you
Here you
said,
go,
a
I
lot of
saw this
HP. It's
tweet
got a lot
from
of
Austin
HP.
Charles. There you
Oh,
go.
this is the tweet I thought I saw as well, but I thought Tyrantrum was at the bottom with the 0.
You were wrong.
4 Pokepad. I mean, yeah, Pokepad's a pretty good card to have, so if you get 4 of them, makes sense. I mean, yeah, that's the one. Not only do you get the best deck, you also get the most Pokepads as well. What the heck?
You're
I think I asked my chat earlier. I think they were saying that the Doublade one was pretty good as well. So maybe that might be the second best one.
the thing that can make the Dewblade one interesting is, like, in the pre-release format, you can play more than 4 of
Yeah.
a card, right? So if you got 4 Honedge in your kit, and then you pulled, like, 2 more Honedge from your packs, you're allowed to play 6 Honedge in your deck.
Yeah.
And so that makes the attack way better, right? Whenever you can just load your deck with these cards. But I still don't think you're gonna one-shot a Tyrantrum, dude.
Uh, how much speed does it have again? Plus how much?
Plus 150. So it goes up to 330.
There's only 2 energies to attack with too, so it's like setting up multiple of those things isn't even that difficult.
Yeah, and they give it the stone fighting energy as well. Or not, it's not, I don't remember what it's called. The stone fighting
Some
energy is the old
fighting,
one.
yeah, and the fighting energy.
Because I saw there's like a clef key in the set that has an attack that says like choose one of your opponent's attacks. They can't use that attack next turn. That
Honestly, it
would
is
be
gonna
kind of a good
be
counter against Tyrantrum, but not when they've
at
got
through true
the
cost, yeah.
the special fighting. No, when they've got the special fighting energy though.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, yeah, like, if you don't have that, like, you're stuck for a while. But honestly, you'll probably get Karma'd, and you'll probably pull the superior deck, I'm not gonna lie, because 'cause you're hating on Tyrantrum,
Hey,
like, you were hating.
it's probably the one that's got the best shot to beat the Tyrantrum, honestly.
It's true,
So
you got that grass weakness. What does the Barbaracle have in is the Barbaracle the main attacker in the Barbaracle deck?
I'm
Or does it
actually
have
not sure.
that would be pretty bad if, like, that's your guy.
I've basically only been seeing people saying like, won my pre-release 4-0 or whatever with the tweet of their deck list, and it's like all people with Tyrantrum decks.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
So I'm hoping to pull Tyrantrum. That's what we're hoping for.
Not gonna happen. But yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. Speaking of Pokepads, um, that is our first topic of the day is the Pokepad discourse. And I feel like honestly, there's kind of been like I don't know what you even call it, like regionist. Like people have only been bringing it up in like talks around Houston, but like there's been 2 other tournaments. Oh, I guess one was Puerto Rico special event, right, where Pokepad was legal. But like I didn't hear
No.
anyone like mentioning the
Well, yeah,
thought of
but Perfect
Pokepad.
Order pre-releases hadn't happened before Puerto Rico.
Is that true? Did they start this weekend?
This past
Last
weekend was the
weekend.
first weekend, which is the same weekend as Curitiba regionals as well. So
Oh, okay.
also no real overlap there.
Oh, okay. So I guess it is fair. I was like, man, there's like these other tournaments going on, but I don't hear anyone talking about it. It's because pre-releases haven't happened.
Dude,
They would be happening while Curitiba was happening.
Azul's watching for you guys, man. He is ready to call you all out, and he was gonna
For
call you
what?
regionist, and
Well, I was even me too. I was like, I was only thinking about it in the context of Houston. It's like there's other tournaments going on too. Why are we not thinking about like why wasn't it brought up around Curitiba? But it makes sense because the pre-releases are happening while Curitiba, unless you got an early morning pre-release and then you show up for Curitiba or a late night pre-release. The Friday night pre-releases, people do those, right?
yeah.
And then roll up to Curitiba
So
the next day with your perfect order Pokepads.
let's just lay out what the whole situation is here, because I think there was this tweet that came out. This was even a week before pre-releases happened, saying these will be in perfect order, right? And then the discussion kind of started right away, like, okay, are these going to be able to be played?
Wait, who's leaking this, bro? They jail, right?
It's a big deal, bro. Um, will people be able to play these cards, right? What is the and there's anytime this situation comes up where there's a set release right around a regional championships, this discussion always happens. Reprinted cards are able to be played at a tournament upon their official release date. So if Houston Regionals was taking place on the release date of Perfect Order, or like the day after the release date's Friday, if the tournament took place on Saturday, Pokepads, the full art Pokepad, all these things would be legal for play. But since this tournament is taking place during the pre-release window, yes, people have officially obtained these cards from an official source.
legally.
They legally above the board, right?
Javier here
Um
though. I'm not sure about the situation.
uh but even though they've attained them from a normal legal way, they are not able to be played because the set has not been officially released. And it's outlined in the tournament handbook in section 4.1.3, exactly as I just said it. I'm not going to reread it, but there it is if anyone wants to go check it out.
And then 2 weeks for anyone who's curious, 2 weeks after the release date,
Yes.
the cards, the set Perfect Order and all cards in it become standard format legal, not just reprints. So the reprints get like a little bit of a grace period, I guess, right? That's how you'd kind of put
Yeah.
it.
So this is I feel like one of the first times I remember this being something that came up was around Decidueye GX back in like the Sun and Moon
Mm.
days. There was like a new set coming out that had a rainbow rare or a shiny version of Decidueye GX, and someone was asking if they could play it in an upcoming tournament. And it was before the release date, but after it was like this exact same situation, right? So they were not able to play it. But that's why you saw people playing like in EUIC, people were playing like the new Badoo art rare in Pheasantipity EX because it was after Ascended Heroes official release date. So they're like able to be played, reprint cards, even though the set wasn't legal itself.
I was questioning like if this had like I posed the question to my chat, and I think someone brought up a boss's orders print at some point, but
Yeah,
it probably wasn't that
probably.
big of a deal because it's like just use your old boss's orders. You had old boss's orders. Who cares, right? So this is like the first time ever. Same thing with Decidueye, right? Like if you probably had your old Decidueyes, probably not as big of a deal. But this is the first time ever there's been like this popular of a card where this situation has kind of arisen. Where
Yeah.
at Houston coming up this weekend, you're not allowed to use Perfect Order Pokepads, despite Ascended Heroes being every card in Ascended Heroes being legal, which contains Pokepad, which is the exact same text and name. Besides the bottom left corner, it says POR instead of ASC for the set abbreviation. That's the only difference on the cards, but you're not allowed to use Perfect Order Pokepads at Houston this weekend. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of a weird, like, it just seems like unnecessary. This seems like one of those situations where I feel like this is like the first time this has happened where the game is this big, right? So that's why it's a bigger deal.
I think the bigger deal here is because Pokepad is such a harder to get card
Sure,
right
sure.
now. Ascended Heroes is a special set. So I think I think it's amplified by all things, right?
Yeah.
The game is bigger, right? It's more noise online of people discussing, talking about it. But to me, I think the biggest deal is the fact that the card is such a strong card, right? It's obviously
Yep.
very, very good. The decks that want it, many will want to play four of it, and it's in a limited product. I've seen people talking about how low the pull rates have felt like for this
Yeah.
common card, even though it is just a common card in Ascended
Please.
Heroes. It's just such a massive set, right? It makes it feel harder to pull. Um, and so all those things led to it being much more expensive. Before the announcement, Pokepad was like an $8 card. And then the tweet comes out that's like, oh, these are going to be in Perfect Order, boom, tanks straight down, loses 50% of the value. So the card's really not that expensive anymore compared to what it was.
You
Picking
even
up a playset.
order
What's up?
you order like 4 from one person right now?
Yeah,
Right,
right
there's
here
a
you
couple,
go.
yeah. There you go, yeah.
You can always on TCG players sort sellers with at least four. There you go.
Yeah, honestly, and actually this is like something like for people like I feel like we bring this up a lot though. Like this is just based on the questions I get in my chat. I think a lot of people just don't know about TCG Player and how easy it is to actually get cards, like just to order whatever you want. 'Cause, like a lot of
Yeah.
people come to my chat and talk about like how they can't find certain cards at their local game stores or stuff like that. But like literally the easiest way to get your products is just like to get your cards is just TCG Player. Like there's a billion different sellers on there. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You're always gonna get, like, the market price as well. Like, you don't have to there's no haggling going on either. So, like, it is kind of a well, it's just kind of it's I mean, I think we bring up TCG Player all the time. It is, like, the
Yeah.
easiest way to get your cards, but it is always surprising to me how, like, many new people getting in the game just don't know, and for some people, it's to them, it's, like, more of a struggle than it actually is to get their cards. For sure. I mean, a big thing with this as well, though, is like a lot of people probably didn't pick up Pokepads, but went to pre-releases,
Yeah.
right? And they opened the Tyrantrum deck. They pulled their 4 Pokepad. They're going to Houston, but now they can't use those Pokepads. So now they have to go out of their way to get 4 Ascended Heroes Pokepads.
I will say though, with that argument, I mean,
They should have been prepared.
this announcement came out like the March 6th was when that tweet was posted. Like these cards are going to be
Yeah.
in perfect order. Now it had kind
For
of been
sure, sure, sure.
speculated, right? People thought, but we didn't know for sure. I have a feeling that like 95% of the people who are going to Houston and planning to play Pokepad in their deck already had the Pokepads necessary.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
probably had already planned and ordered them because uh waiting until like 2 weeks before the tournament, then you're worrying about like cards getting to you in time, especially if you're flying out like,
Yeah, yeah.
Thursday, Friday, right?
Well, I mean, the amount of
Um
people who buy the event, that's like another thing where I think like there's like just so many people who just like are unprepared. The amount of like you'd be like the cards that I hear about sometimes selling out at tournaments, like at the vendors, like all these cards sold out at the vendors is like kind of surprising sometimes. Some of the cards that get sold out. So a lot of people show up to tournaments and now that's on them, of course, fairly unprepared. But I'm sure like the vendors probably have a lot of perfect order Pokepads they would love to sell you, but now you're not even going to be able to buy those to use at Houston, right? So yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's probably being a little bit overinflated, like how many players will be affected and how much could this infect the like competitive integrity of the tournament. Um, and we see that even like being I guess like one thing I'll say on this, like to get like my full thought process out there on this is just like it just seems like, this is the perfect turning the game this is the first time this has happened in a long time. For how big the game is, this is, like, a bigger deal. Also, like you mentioned, it's a card that's a lot more impactful, gonna be a lot higher played than most of the cards we've seen this impact in the past or have a similar situation in the past. Now that we've seen the situation happen, I think this is a perfect time for TPCI to put out a tweet and be like, "Okay, you know what? Perfect order Pokepads, no problem. It's legal for Houston." Why is that a big deal? Why is that hard to do? It's not, and it should just happen, right? And it should just be it's really easy to make it clear across the board. I mean, Gaming Gen sent out an email this or last week, basically telling everyone that you're not going to be able to use perfect order Pokepads. In the email, they could have said you are allowed to use perfect order Pokepads. And then to make it clear on site at the tournament, an announcement before the tournament starts. So that way, when someone looks across the table and they see their opponents playing a card with POR in the bottom corner, and then if they feel like rule sharking, then, they know that calling a judge isn't going to lead to anything, right? But instead, we're in a situation where we're being told you can't use the perfect order Pokepads. We haven't heard like an official statement at all from TPCI. Not that they really need to if that's their decision, obviously. But this would have been a great situation for TPCI to step up, allow everyone to use the perfect order Pokepads, and then moving forward, just like we have the retroactive rule of if it has the same name in the same text to an extent, some need further erratas like really old super rods or the quick ball most recently the card should just be legal, standard format legal. That should extend to future sets, like unreleased cards as well, as long as they're obtained in a way TPCI wants you them to obtain them. They're okay with you getting cards from pre-releases, like you said. That's like a legal way to get the
yeah.
cards. If someone like goes in goes to the printing factory and like ends up with like an alternate art of a card, you can't roll up and play that at a tournament before you're out legally allowed to get it. But that
Yeah.
rule just needs to be changed to extend to future unreleased cards, like this Pokepad in the situation.
And I think that is one of the big reasons why this rule is just in place in general. You can't play cards before their official street date. They just like made this blanket rule and this is like what they have. And I think that because they've had a lot of problems over the years with cards getting out of that factory before they're supposed to. Now, for those who don't know, the factory where they print all the Pokemon cards is in North Carolina. It's not that far away from where I live. So
But
I've
Chip, that's getting the Chip is
I've
going
seen
there.
multiple instances of cards being out before they're supposed to be just because like and I never
Wild.
like one example is there was I never encountered this person but I'd heard people talk about this person that would show up to a card shop once every like 6 or so months, have a binder full of cards from the next couple sets that are all in super high rarities and trade them slash sell them for very, very cheap prices. I've heard that story in the area many times, and it's been a while, I will say. I think that their security is a lot better now than it was like when
Yeah.
I started playing in 2015. But I think that that's maybe one of the reasons that this kind of thing exists. They don't want people showing up and playing with full art Pokepads, at the Puerto Rico special event, which is taking place before Perfect Order pre-releases even happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, but yeah, I think that's a little like if that is the reason, it's a little silly. It's so easy to like know what should be and should not be allowed to be played, right? Like the pre-releases start this weekend, so that means that
Yeah, yeah.
weekend on anything
It
pulled
would
from
be
a
like
pre-release
I
that
think
is the same.
the easy thing would just be to say like after
'Cause-
pre-releases happen,
Yeah, yeah,
it's fair
yeah. That's
game
like the
for
day.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. They just need to do what they do for like, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the same thing for like the already rotated cards. Like I'm playing with a super rod that has a flip a coin effect on it at Toronto. Like the fact that I can play with a super rod that says flip a coin. I think it says flip a coin, right? I actually don't remember the effect.
What are you saying? Oh, the old super rod. Yeah, it's like you flip a
Yeah,
coin, and yeah, if you can play that card, dude.
yeah. Like if I can play this super rod that says flip a coin. If heads, put an evolution card from your discard pile, if any, into your hand. If tails, put a basic Pokemon from your discard pile, if any, into your hand. If I can play that at Toronto, which I did, I had 2 of these in my Charizard deck, completely legal. The card has the same name, Super Rod. They eroded it. It just you play it as if it had current standard format Super Rod text. If I can play that, I think people should be able to play Perfect Order Pokepad. So I think the biggest thing is it's probably not that big of a deal. People will have their Ascended Heroes Pokepads, most likely. Um, they just need to the rule that applies to these older, already rotated out of standard format cards needs to apply to potential future cards. Like in this instance, like the Pokepad that has been released in a pre-release, like Pokepad or Perker or Pokepad should just be allowed to be played at Houston Regional. It's just not that big of a deal, and it's just like it's one of those things where it just like makes everything smoother and easier for like the players in the community. So it's like a huge hindrance or like and I bet there will be some people who just aren't as plugged in to everything and online as much as a lot of the more competitive players who will show up with perfect order pokepads probably at Houston for sure, right? It's like why are we trying to like ruin those players' experience? Now, I will say, um, I wouldn't expect the penalties to be as harsh. You can't like at major tournaments, you can no longer have an illegal deck list. It doesn't exist anymore because we submit through RK9. You can still have an illegal deck. So if you show up with Pokepad from Perfect Order, you technically have an illegal deck. And if you get pretty deep into the tournament, we've seen even this season, someone get DQ'd for having who was it playing Sarah Ledge at Milwaukee?
Oh, Hunter
Getting
Smith, right? Or
yeah,
Luke
Hunter Smith.
Smith? Luke Smith.
Was Luke or Hunter? I think it was
It
Luke.
was
I think you're
Luke.
right.
It
Yeah.
was Luke.
Luke had a illegal deck list and got DQ'd, right, from the tournament. Even if
No,
you got that far into
he
the
got
tournament?
DQ'd for marked cards.
Oh, was it not? I thought it was a legal deck list.
I'm pretty sure it was marked cards.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong then. Oh, no, you are right. It was marked cards. We have seen
Yeah.
people get DQ'd for illegal deck lists, though, at a certain point in the tournament, right?
I cannot
I'm second
pinpoint
guessing.
it off the top of my head at the moment.
I have to guess it has happened. But I think the penalty will be less harsh if your illegal deck list is because of a perfect order Pokepad.
Now, it
Um,
may still be a
now
game loss though. Like,
I don't know if it would. I don't know if it would. That's what I'm saying. Like, it might just be a warning and replace. Even if you're if you get deck check going to top cut and you have the wrong Pokepads, I don't even know if they would give you a game loss or a DQ or anything like that.
yeah.
One
One
more
thing
thing
I'll
I did
say.
want to. Oh, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I did see, I think it was Xander Bennett posted that he like went to his pre-release and brought and trade was able to like with his locals trade his perfect order Pokepads for Ascended Heroes ones because they weren't going to new tournaments and he was, right? So I think there's like opportunities there for people who are going to their local card shops playing to try to make stuff like that happen too.
I have seen a little bit of I've seen that quite a few people like bring up stuff like that. And that is cool to see the community like come together to solve a problem that shouldn't need to be solved. And that's like what
Sure.
makes it like it's cool to see it, but I've been here for a long time. I've seen the community solve TPCI's problems many times throughout the games, and it just doesn't need to happen. TPCI can just say, no, you can just use your perfect perfect order Pokepad. It's not a big deal because it's not a big deal, but like they're making it a big deal. Um, one more thing I wanted to kind of put a thought out on for people who are in that current headspace because like one of the things that came up around this was, and I made some meme tweets on Twitter myself about it, but if you sit across from an opponent and they play a pokepad that is with perfect order on it, I mean, I've seen like the full spectrum of takes on this from and my take is like calling your opponent out on that is kind of silly. I would like remind my opponent that, hey,
Yeah.
after this match, you should probably change that, but I'm not going to call a judge on you. Like, who cares? But I have seen some people have the take of to the extreme opposite side of that of, um, if you flip over if you play a perfect order Pokeball, I'm going to call a judge on you and attempt to get a penalty against you, basically. And the way I've seen some people defend it in terms of like, well, the rules are the rules. You should be following the rules. The rules exist to try and make it so that people can play a fun, fair game of the Pokemon TCG. Calling out your opponent for having a perfect order Pokepad is not the purpose of the rules that exist for the Pokemon TCG. In fact, I would go as far as saying, although that's not how it would be ruled, doing that, in my opinion, goes against one of the rules or kind of feelings in the Pokemon TCG, which is the spirit of the game. So I would say you're actually breaking the rules of the Pokemon TCG for trying to get a penalty against your opponent for playing a perfect order Pokeball. Yes, they're technically breaking the rules, and you calling a judge on them is technically withholding holding up the rules, but the rules don't exist so you can be petty and try and get a two prize penalty against your opponent. That's not why the rules exist in the Pokemon TCG. Theoretically, we don't need any rules besides maybe time rules, but because of how people would potentially try and manipulate board states and situations, you need rules so people can more often play a fun, fair game of the Pokemon TCG. So that's not why the rules exist. The rules don't exist so you can get a two prize penalty against a perfect order Pokepad opponent. So just like for people who are like undecided on how to like deal with that situation, I say what I usually when people ask me these kind of questions, I tell people what I would do, but you can be open to like a wide like there's a reasonable wide spectrum of like ways to tackle situations in the Pokemon TCG. I think it would be pretty scummy if your opponent plays a perfect order Pokepad against you for you to call a judge on them and not just be like, you know what? Just make sure you change it after this match. I'm not going to say anything else about it. If a judge does come over and notice it, obviously you have to handle it in that kind of in that way at that point with the judge involved. But outside of that, you going out of your way to get a judge involved is like pretty scummy, I would say, and I think goes against the spirit of the game in the Pokemon TCG.
I think it definitely does. And I think I'm trying to find it in the rule book. I feel like there is something about trying to fish for a penalty.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I saw someone highlight that I think on Twitter at some point
Yeah.
with all this discourse going down about the Pokepad, the great Pokepad Discord of 2026. Um, I don't think we'll hear too many people's tournament runs getting ruined, and a lot of penalties happening because of this. Like I said, I think that like it feels like also from the judges' standpoint, from the little bit that I've seen from judges, is like they very much. It feels like like everyone feels like you should be able to play perfect order Pokepads, and the fact that anyone would get a penalty for it is kind of a shame. And honestly, you could argue that is like a jeopardizing competitive integrity of the tournament, right? Like
Mhm.
the fact that someone would even get a penalty for playing a perfect order Pokepad. So, uh, yeah, that's like I want to get my thoughts out on that because I feel like some really bad takes, poor mindset, and I feel like there are some people who are up in the air. They don't know what to do. They're like, if my opponent flips over one, should I call a judge? Should I not call a judge?
Dude,
Um,
if what I'll say about it is like, why are you even reading that? Like,
yeah,
who is looking? It's so small in the corner of the card. If you're
yeah.
looking for POR
That's a
versus
good point. That's a good
ASC, like,
point. What are
dude,
we doing?
if someone picks up, if I play Pokepad this weekend and someone picks up my Pokepad to like read, dude,
They whip out the microscope. They got it like
yeah,
on, and they like
that is some corny stuff,
or
dude.
the eyeglass. Yeah, it's super corny. That actually is like the. I didn't even like think about that yet because if my opponent plays a Pokepad across from me, I would have to pick up the card
Yeah,
to see if it had the correct set abbreviation. Yeah, people are picking up Pokepads, bro. Like you have to. That's got to be like a. I don't know, like a come to Jesus moment or like a reassessing your lifetime moment. If you're picking up
yeah.
someone's Pokepad to read what set it's from, Yeah, like, that's, like, another thing as well, like, I don't know, you could make the argument, but it's like, am I letting my like, is it wrong? Is it morally wrong for me to let my opponent break the rules of the game? Bro, if you don't pick up the Pokepad and read it, you have no clue, right? You're not
Yeah.
picking up any other
Ignorance
card
is
and reading it
bliss.
instead of yeah, ignorance is bliss in this situation. Just let the Pokepad rock. If a judge rolls up with their microscope to investigate it during the uh on your opponent's side of the field, go with it. At the end of the day, get your Ascended Heroes Pokepads if you can, though, for
Dude, I
sure.
can just picture judges walking around this weekend with microscopes. They see a Pokepad immediately, like. And I do think one thing as well is like it seems like most of the judges and stuff will recognize that this situation is a little silly, right? Most
Yeah.
I don't know. And the whole thing is just definitely very, very silly. It would have been very easy for them to solve. Like, yes, they've got this rule in place. They very easily could have just said these cards that were retained in pre-release are able to be played and stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean,
Pretty
we just saw
simple
them do it.
solve.
We just saw them do it with Ascended Heroes, right? Ascended Heroes was supposed to be legal for UIC, and they were like, you know what?
It's
Things are a
not.
little yeah, things are feeling a little bit weird. We shouldn't do it. Things are also feeling a little bit weird about this. Just like make them legal. Like it
Yeah.
really isn't a big deal one way or the other. And I hope the thing that comes of this is that rule change that I was talking about. Like it should just like it works in the past, it should work towards the future.
Well, I don't think that
Um,
like it just should be
but
as simple as cards are legal, like reprinted cards are legal after pre-release pre-releases begin.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like that
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be the yeah, that's what it should be like moving forward. So um that's what I'm hopeful for anyways.
Yeah. Well, there's also a bunch of other announcements around Pokemon Leagues and things happening at Pokemon Leagues this summer, and new things coming to Pokemon Leagues starting in April. And I think I actually saw people posting that these kits and stuff have already arrived at stores, which was some exciting stuff. So, I mean, this is kind of minor news, I feel like, but it is cool to see something else, right? Where people who max out their monthly league activity points, which I don't even know how you obtain or how those are tracked, but if you max them out, you get
You
a
get
nice
them.
little standee, you know? It's cool. It's cool. But I
Yeah.
think the cooler thing in this post here of new stuff coming out is that the battle box is officially going to be sent to stores, which we've talked about this before. It's a draft style two-player format that Pokemon has demoed at regional championships over the last couple of years and is officially being released, where you can draft this pool of cards against another player, play a fun, singleton format game, and get like a unique experience every single time. It's like playing a board game almost of the Pokemon TCG, a draft game, whatever you want to call it. Um,
That's a pretty quick turnaround from when we talked about it happening to
I
them. Like,
know.
what is it? How is this going to be? Is it going to be like something like they have a couple kits of it like on hand for like league players to play with, or is it? It's not going to be a product available, right, for people to like
No,
buy.
it's going to be included in so every month or I think it's every quarter, leagues are given like a new kit with a bunch of stuff in it, promotional things, play like the big play mats, you'll see them use it's like they'll set up sometimes at the first table at a league cup or something like that. Um it'll be included alongside that promotional material to hand out. And it's just like meant to live at the league and like people can show up and play it when they want to play it, right? During the Pokemon League time frame.
Very cool,
Um
very cool. I wonder if we'll ever see that. Ooh, dude, if they implemented that on TCG Live, kind of dealio. Like if you could like invite people and like play, like you invite your friends to one of these, like if they have
it would be cool.
10 years from
I
now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, this was
That would be
demoed
pretty
it.
sick
This has been
though.
demoed at regionals for 2 years at least,
Yeah.
and it's finally happening and coming to league. So getting it into TCG Live, yeah, I got no hopes for that honestly, but um if you want to see a video about what this is, I actually did do a spot on it at a regional championships last year where Kenny, who's one of the people who works at Pokemon, who has helped develop this product, talked us through it, and Puka and I drafted it and played it and did a little battle on stream. I think that this one that we did is a different one than um, this new one. Yeah, because I think this is a newer one. It's H regulation. I think we did G regulation, and that's like another thing about it is that the battle box is like all cards of whatever the newest, or they stay within one regulation, right? So it's like a full block of cards effectively, card pool to pull from. And there's not like ultra rares in it. There's not like EXs or anything like that. It's kind of meant to be more of a almost like a GLC type thing, where I mean it's
Yeah.
obviously not a singleton type format, but like everything is a one of. The decks are gonna look a little silly, right? Where you've got like 3 or 4 energy types potentially in your deck. But a lot of fun. So a unique experience for sure.
It's definitely pretty cool. It is unfortunate that there won't be like as many ways to like access and use it because something that I would actually be interested in trying out at some point for
It would be
sure.
cool if this eventually got sold in stores, and there's potential, I guess,
Yeah.
for that, right? If this is successful, so
Mhm. This might be one of the things they're trying to gauge is just like interest, like how much
mhm.
getting feedback from like league leaders or whatever and seeing what the community, the local communities think about something like this. But it definitely seems pretty cool. Definitely hope that they expand on it in the future, see more from it. Like you said, like a physical product that people can pick up, making its way to PTCG Live, maybe, possibly.
Another thing too is I have to imagine, we don't know yet. I'm just looking at some of these cards here, like this for Alligator. You're someone, Azul, who goes out of your way to get non-hollow versions of all the competitive cards,
Mm,
right? I wonder if this kit will introduce more non-hollow versions of some of these cards that have only previously been hollow before.
gonna have to raid my local league, I guess, and just no, I'm joking. Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna be another way that those kind of make their way into circulation because that's usually through like like the prize packs is one of the big ways that like non-hollow versions of cards.
Pre-release
Um,
kit's another one.
yeah, yeah, see more of those
Another update from Play Pokemon. They've been busy this week over on the Play Pokemon Twitter.
moving.
Was about the mid-year celebrations, and more specifically, I mean, the big news from this is outlining a dedicated off season. Um, that
And this feels like more official than previous years when there
yeah.
was periods of time when there was no championship point earning events.
So, like in the past, there's been no championship point earn. I think last year there was like no point earning events for just like the month of June, but then they picked back up
Yeah,
in July, I believe,
yeah,
right? Or maybe it wasn't July and they picked back up in August. I think they picked up in July though. Um, but they're setting out here now that from the end of NAIC until the end of Worlds, right? The mid-year celebration events are the perfect way to take it easy while staying sharp as the Pokemon Championship Series takes a break from June 15th, end of NAIC, to August 31st, 2026, end of Worlds. There will be no CP earning events, league challenges, league cups, etc. during this break.
yeah. So this is one of those things where there's so many actually there's a lot of viewpoints and I've heard a lot of good takes for like why this is good, why this is bad. I think that overall now I'm not and I'm also now at this point where I'm not someone where I'm like competing. But even like the last couple of seasons where I was being more competitive, I didn't go to locals like cups and challenges at all. Like but I think something like this is good in terms of like you can't like I think it's like it's really hard for people to gain the perspective of this like kind of forces people to not be burnt out. Like it is one of those things where it's like it is like an attention thing where it's like Pokemon constantly wants your interest and involvement in their events and tournaments. And by them kind of like forcing you to not attend like the events you maybe you would be more interested in attending for a period of time, that will keep you more engaged in wanting to attend cups and challenges when they do make their way back around. But I think the idea of just like kind of breaking things up and shaking things up, and then hopefully doing a lot with this. Maybe I don't know how big like these events are going to be this year around, but if they continue to build on it and do more with this kind of time period in terms of non-championship point earning events, I don't know. I think it'll be cool. I think it's like overall a good thing for there to be like kind of like an official off season for competitive events, championship point earning tournaments, like they put it.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels like a good thing. And I'm like I said, I'm like someone who's been completely disengaged because one of the pushbacks on that is like, oh, the competitive players now they don't have to go to league cups, but you could take a break from your league cups, league challenges if you want to. But what if I want to go to league cups and league challenges in the summer? So it's but like for me, like that's like I don't go to local tournaments anyways. Like that's like even though I'm not doing that, I still think it's like a good thing that there is this off season.
Yeah,
Um,
and then for the, like, super casual local player, like, the people who do play in their stores League Cup or League Challenge, but they're not someone who's driving out of their city to other League Cups. They're not someone
yeah,
who's going to multiple regional championships a year. There is still stuff going on because they
yeah,
have the ability to host, I think it says, yeah, Play Pokemon Stores will host 2 mid-year celebration events this year, and there's still prizes, right? A playmat similar to what you would get for, winning a League Cup, right? So
yeah.
there'll still be some competitive stuff going on that won't be having championship points tied to it. One of the big arguments against this time frame that I did see
Yeah.
is that a huge percentage, well, there is a percentage of competitive players who this is the time of year where they have the most free time. People
Yeah.
who are students, right? Juniors and seniors have the summer off, and this is a time where they could commit more time to being able to earn some championship points for the next year. So that's like a big point of contention with uh this announcement for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like just so I feel like I can understand the take, but I feel like it's a pretty weak argument overall because it's like there's not that many points to be earned in that time period anyways. Like there's no regionals. Why are we not complaining about regionals not existing in summer? Although this might open the gateway for people to complain about that. Not me saying that, but just like this is like kind of the starting of that talking point. It's like, well, now there's no cups and challenges where I can earn championship points in the summer. And it's like it's not that's like not a very big potential time period to earn that many championship points. What is it cups and challenges like the best finish limit 4 or something? I
Yeah,
think
I
the
think
best
so.
argument I saw was like for stipends, but even then that's such a like a small section of players and those players are pretty competitive. The ones who are competing for stipends and travel awards like I don't think they're going to let the fact that they can't compete at them during the summer or these summer months stop them. And also just kind of I think it's just one of those things where it's like a little bit unfortunate in terms of the timeline up. Like Pokemon's biggest events or TPCI's biggest events, the biggest events for the Pokemon TCG, I feel like are NAIC and Worlds.
Yes.
Outside of like maybe like the Japan Championships. But of course, obviously that's isolated to like just Japan. So like, and they want them in the summer because they want them to be as available to people as possible, right? So it kind of conflicts for their schedule as well, where it's like they want to like isolate these tournaments and make them a bigger deal and make this kind of the biggest things going on for the Pokemon TCG. And it just happens to be that the summer is the best time to do that. Like it would be different if they were like, you know what, let's put Worlds in the winter and then they could take the fall off or something, right? And then that would kind of line up a little bit more for that argument. But I feel like it's like I can understand the argument. I don't think it's a good enough reason for Pokemon to not do what they're doing though, and by having their biggest events be in the summer to begin with. And I don't know, I just don't think it's that big of a deal that this is the way things kind of line up, I guess.
Yeah, a pretty common sentiment for like years has just been amongst those stipend chasers that they just wish that these local events did not count towards
Yeah.
stipends. It's, like, fine for them to count towards Worlds, like, that's great, right? Maybe even towards, like, the top 16 at the end of the year or whatever, the, like, Worlds Travel Awards, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, like, whenever each quarter you're pressured to get as many points as possible, in that quarter to get yourself that invite or stipends or travel award to the next, international championship. Now I will say one thing with there being less months for stipend chasers, right? Everyone is on the same playing field, right? So it's like
Yeah.
everyone who wants to be a stipend chaser, right? They were probably going to go to a League Cup every single weekend, regardless, right? So I don't know how much that really changes. It does put a little bit more pressure on those events because you don't have the cushion to like, oh, I only got top eight. I can replace that top eight with a, second place later down the line
Yeah.
or something
You
like that,
can
right?
you could make like an argument like the players who aren't going to be in school during the summer period would be able to have more time to compete against the players who have, who are maybe they work full time, but they get their weekends off, so, right? So they have like but like it's never going to be fully fair. I always think like the arguments against locals counting for like the travel awards and the stipends have always been pretty weak. And I was a player who used to do it. Like I would go to league cups and league challenges, but like I just love I don't get it because it's like I did it because I love the game. I didn't really like ever click in my mind where it was like, man, I got to go to this cup this weekend because I got to get 50 more points to beat out X person to get top 16 for this next stipend. It was just like, man, another league cup this weekend. Let's get it. Let's go. So it's like if you're not doing it for the love of the game, do you really love the game enough to the point where it matters that much if you get the stipend or travel award to begin with on like that front of like, does this really matter that much for that? Like, you could there's like a million things you could go do to earn enough money in the same time amount of time to like or less time to like
That
make up
is
for the stipend. Like I just don't I think it's just like if they I'm not against them removing league cups and league challenges from stipends and travel awards. It's just like one way or another, I don't think it matters a ton. And the arguments I think are really weak like against it, like or against them counting towards it. So I don't know. Like
Mhm.
if they do count or don't count, I kind of the one argument that I think is actually a decent argument for like them counting local tournaments counting towards stipends and travel awards is players who can only go to a couple majors get to actually compete for the stipends and travel awards if
Yeah.
they go to less majors. They actually have a way to compete for those stipends and travel awards, which I think is like overall a good thing to get more people to be more competitive in the game on that higher level. So yeah, a little bit tangent on that. It's a little bit sidetracked from like our overall discussion, but I don't think that's like a good argument. Once again, going back to like this 2 month period being off, like the stipend chasers who would have more time during the summer compared to that people who have plenty of time year round. It's like it feels like we're just like digging for like any possible angle to like be annoyed at this situation. But I feel like most of the arguments are pretty weak overall.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's not quite as big of a deal as it's been made out to be. And I think, like, obviously, it would be I don't know, I just don't feel like it's that big of a deal for there to be, like, a little bit of a break, and it's probably, like, overall a good thing for the stores and but also, I did see one take that was like, give the power to the stores to decide when like a good off season for their local clientele and stuff could be possibly. I don't necessarily hate that argument. There was also discussions around like the break. If we're gonna have a break, it should be like in December, January, right, where people are traveling for holidays and it's cold outside. No one wants to be outside anyway. Like, let that. And I think that would maybe be a good argument to be honest, but I
Yeah,
think with the timeline of when Pokemon's biggest events are, this is just the
makes so much
if
sense.
they want to do an off season, this is what makes the most sense. Now, one thing I will also say that I did think about with this, and I think I might have been Jake Gearhart that tweeted something about it. We were talking last week. I don't actually remember if it was in the main episode or the bonus episode where someone asked about or maybe it was just you and me talking even. I don't even remember about state championships, right? There we talked about how there's like not really a good time for like state championships to fit into the mix, right? Because back in the
Yeah,
day, there was like a time frame where cities would happen, and then there was a time frame where the winter regionals would happen, and then there was a time frame for state championships, and then there was a time frame for the spring regionals, right? And everything was like segmented and broken up. Nowadays, there's like not a time to fit in something like a state championships.
yeah,
This could be that time in theory
yeah. That is
where over the summer, it's not an event where people earn championship points. It's not an event where people can earn a world's invite. Maybe you give the state champion. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to go down that rabbit hole necessarily, but it's just some other thing for people to compete at that's a little higher level on it's like it could exist as its own thing. It can be separate from the world championship series circuit, right? That would be
yeah.
this would be the time frame where something like that could exist and that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I will say also like this year, conveniently maybe because last year this wasn't true. Like December, that we basically had an effective break in December. There was like a whole month break. The only tournament that happened in like 6 weeks was a tournament in Japan.
But there was still, like,
Um,
cups and stuff,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah. There were still cups and challenges, but yeah, like no majors. So yeah, I mean that would create this time period, but it sounds like they found something to do with that time period, right? And I think like the more you talked about it, at first I was like, yeah, the idea of states is cool and stuff, but like you're right, we are just kind of in like a continuous cycle of just like tournament after tournament after tournament. This does kind of break that up for them. And then also but they want to take it a step further and they want to have like a bigger time period where there's no challenges, there's no cups, like a full break, a full reset heading into the new season. I guess like even like from another point, this is an angle that I thought of as well. Like this is a perfect time for people to get into the game. Like things are more casual, a little bit more chill. There's these what are they calling them? Celebration events or whatever going on. Like perfect time for people to just get into the game, start playing the game. And especially like I realize this more now, dude. People are like, what is the correct way for me to say this? Um, dude, like the amount of people who come into my chat and ask me like, do you think I'm ready for a league cup or a league challenge? Like, is like it's like a really high like people are like, I don't want to say scared, but like they're nervous. They're like there's a lot they put a lot of pressure on themselves to want like whether or not they should show up to like a local tournament and stuff like that. So it's like Yeah, I don't know. I don't It just makes it, like, more approachable, I guess, like, having, like, this time period maybe for, like, newer players to get into the game and take that step from TCG Live to showing up to one of these mid-year celebration events. So, like, from that angle, even there's, like, a positive I think you can make. I think there's, like, there's so many more positives to this than negatives. And the one thing that stands out is, like, yep, a lot of people have more free time during the summer, but it's just kind of unfortunate that it lines up with Worlds and NAIC, which are TPCI's big events. So this is when it makes sense to have the off season. In a perfect world, I like you could the time frame, the timetable would be adjusted so like everything would line up a little bit better. But we're not in the perfect world, and not being in the perfect world, I don't think it's that big of a deal that things are lined up this way. Basically, I haven't seen a strong enough argument against it. It maybe exists, and I'm sure there'll be more discourse about this over the next week. So maybe I'll come back to the episode next week, or even the comment section. If you have a further take, a stronger take on a similar position, you can leave it in the comment section. Maybe we'll
Well,
revisit this next week.
we didn't have anything for accountability corner this week. Was there anything we should have brought up at the start of the episode? Our new
Uh,
segment. It doesn't have to be every week, right? I mean, maybe we
that's
just
only what
aced it.
happens.
We got it perfect last week, right?
Well, no, apparently you forgot about one. You actually made a post in the Discord about it.
What did I
Daily Bird
forget?
is only basic energy, not special energy. That was it,
Oh,
bro. Yeah, nothing crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
nothing to
I
be held
forgot. Yeah,
accountable.
I made a separate channel. Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
Discord where we keep everything organized, and I forgot I made a new channel for called accountability. I forgot to
Yeah,
check that
I
before
would
we
love to
started
be like
recording.
I'm all I would say like I'm all open to being wrong. Like or not being wrong, but just being like, okay, there is more to the other side of the argument. I just haven't seen it yet. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's just like it just people are like, man, there's so many things that like and for them it probably hits them a little bit harder. They are probably a little bit more in those situations where it hits them or they know someone who it's
Mhm.
going to affect a little bit more. So then it's like they see their friends complaining about it, people in a group chat complaining about it, and they're like, "Man, you know what? Those are good points. That makes sense." To me, I haven't seen any of that like on like a more personal level, so that's probably why I maybe feel this way a little bit. But yeah, I still haven't been like overly swayed by any of the arguments I've seen. But
And then
open to being wrong.
one last play related update, not organized play, but Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. You mentioned at the start of the episode how rotation on TCG Live is coming very, very soon, a week from this Friday, right? Or this Thursday, right? Is when it will happen. The
Yeah.
new set will go live, perfect order, rotation will happen. But Orlando Regionals is around the corner, and I saw people posting like, "Wait, so rotation's gonna happen?" And I mean, I've still got Orlando Regionals coming up. I don't know, like maybe League Cups. I don't know if there's any other majors happening. Is Sevilla post rotation? Is that happening before rotation?
It's the week before Orlando.
Oh yeah, right. So
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
yeah, so that will be happening as well, and people will be wanting to still practice for those events.
Sevilla,
But
they'd have
if
like 24 hours before, like,
this is a good point.
yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah. Rotation on Thursday, they'd have Friday to grind, or they like 48 hours of TCG live, where like it could have been affected, but
Those last few games, man, they can make all the difference, you know.
honestly, I feel like the majority of players would be better off like taking 48 hours off from the game most of the time, just chilling, relieve the stress, get a good night's sleep the day before, stuff like that. More
But they
beneficial.
did announce on TCG Live, Champions Training Ground is coming to Trainer Trials for Pokemon TCG Live for players looking to continue practicing for upcoming Championship Series events with the current standard format. So there will still be a way for players to practice who are preparing for the Orlando Regional Championships. This is something people have asked for. They're doing it. There's a lot of problems, obviously, with TCG Live. It's felt like they've been amplified the last couple weeks with a lot of problems. It does feel nice to see them do something that people have been wanting, though. Here,
Yeah, definitely. I do wonder. Well, I guess it was like a little bit more relevant for. I feel like this one could get a little bit more traction than the rotation ladder.
yeah,
That they like trainer trials up to this point was well, it was like rotation, but we're missing like the big cards we're missing are like Meowth, and there's no judge as well. So
yeah.
and I was still running into plenty of rotation decks on the ranked ladder today and yesterday. So but I feel like this might get a little bit more traction. As like the competitive players want to be continuing to grind their deck are going to be on there. And I am curious to know though, like I think it'll be pretty telling if they continue to do this moving forward. I could definitely see it the latter just not getting enough players and just like people won't be able to find games and there's just no point in doing this moving forward. So it's one of those things where it's like it's going to be on the community to actually utilize this tool enough to make them want to do this in the future. It's really cool to see them doing this like it's like an initial. I mean, I don't want to call it a test, but I'm sure that's one way they're approaching it. Is like this is the first time we're doing this. Let's see what the traction is like. Let's see how many people actually utilize this separate ladder to continue to prep in the pre-rotation format while the ranked ladder is post-rotation. I It would be cool to just kinda see this be like a separate rank if they could do that somehow, like, make 2 ranked ladders, and then you, like, play on 1 in the previous format, and then it, like, you just your account switches over to the or, like, your ELO switches over to the updated ladder when it switches over, but maybe that'd be, like, a little bit too much separation because I imagine, like, a ladder like this, you compare it to anyone, I would assume. And that could also be a problem for,
I think
like
there is still like a hidden MMR
on
in
there.
live. Yeah, because like
Yeah.
so like for me, as someone in the past who's been in Arceus tier, right, and then doesn't play for like 2 or 3 months at a time. I come back into the game and I'm down in like quick ball tier because I've like there's been multiple battle pass or ranked ladder resets since the last time I
Yeah.
played. If I'm queuing down in like Pokeball and quick ball tier, it takes me like 2 minutes sometimes to find a game.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's because of that, because of like a hidden MMR thing. And then like when I do get a game, I'll get someone who's like in great ball tier, like a two leagues above me.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they continue to do it moving forward. It's cool to see them taking like this initial step to trying this out, and I hope enough players utilize it so that we continue to see it for future tournaments as well. Because, like, I mean, this is like the tool. This is what the community asked for. They're doing it. Um, so now people just have to actually use it if we want to continue to see it be happening. Because yeah, I don't think they would continue to do this if people are just not if the population on the ladder is just not where it
Well,
needs
I
to be.
wonder the population on the ladder for something like this has to be more than like some of these other ones they've done, right? Or would do you think the other ones are maybe bigger? Like the twin battles or the blooming buddies battle. Did you even see this?
No,
Card pool expanded, common and uncommon cards only grass type Pokemon.
but I feel like people who are like, pretty casual, like this kinda stuff, though, I feel like. I feel
Yeah.
like people are really
I
pretty into this, like
I think this type of stuff is
sure.
cool for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like these things are probably pretty popular. Like, I feel like these are probably more popular I feel like almost all of them are gonna be more popular than the post-rotation ladder. Maybe not, though, maybe I'm wrong, but, like, I guess, like, it lets people play with their, like, post-rotation decks against other post-rotation decks well, except for Judge, I guess, which is kinda
If
cool,
you've
like, if you're gonna play it, like,
if you've
um
spent some
yeah.
time playing Twin Battle or Blooming Buddies Battle on TCG Live, let us know in the comments like what the queue times looked like. Was it hard to
Yeah.
get games in these or were
I'd have to
people
imagine
playing
there's
it pretty regularly?
for the trainer trials, I would imagine maybe there's no MMR at all. It'd be like it's queuing up on casual. It would just be like player A, who's ever been in the longest queue, hits the longest player, who's other player who's been in the queue the longest as well. That wouldn't surprise me if
Is
that's
that what
how
it is
that
on
one
the
plays
casual
out.
ladder?
I would assume. I would assume it's just anyone hits anyone.
We don't know
Just tries to
though.
queue up people as fast as possible. Yeah, I don't know for sure. Um, but yeah, I could see the thing is like there's like a I feel like with the post rotation ladder, like like you could just still go play your deck on ranked, right? There wouldn't be anything, but you can't really do that with you can't. Well, you definitely can't do it with the post rotation decks. Like you could still theoretically do that, like with Ascended Heroes, right? Like you could queue your non Ascended Heroes deck versus Ascended Heroes deck on like for EYC prep, and it wouldn't be terrible. But having like a separate ladder would have probably seen a decent amount of traction, especially when there's like such a strong utility use for it. It's like this event is coming up play with the deck here on this, or we got a couple events coming up. I guess. Oh no, it is just one. It literally is basically just Orlando, or like the 48 hours for Sevilla, cramming those last couple games in, I guess. But, so yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, that's it for the organized play updates. Kind of a lot going on since our last episode, to be honest. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and now it is time, Azul, for Guess That Flavor Text, where each week you or I picks a card, reads the flavor text on it, and has the other host try to guess which Pokemon is featured on that card. If you get it right without using any of our 3 available lifelines, you get yourself 4 points. For each lifeline you use, you do lose one of the potentials of those points. The lifelines are what set the card is from, what stage the card is, and read an attack name. We do, of course, keep score. Azul currently in the lead, still 43-40 after I was unable to guess the pitiful little Phoebus last week. So that means it is my turn to pick a card for Azul
That
to
poor Phoebus.
guess.
All right, Chip. I'm ready for this week's flavor text.
Its fin tips leak poison. Its fins and bones are highly valued as ingredients in herbal medicine.
All right, read it again.
Its fin tips leak poison. Its fins and bones are highly valued as ingredients in herbal medicine.
I think this is Dragology. I want to go all in on Dragology. I think it all lines up. It all lines up for Dragology. That could be a 4-point swing.
Would I ever catch you if you got a 7-point lead?
What did I come back from? What was your biggest lead?
That's not important.
I mean, I don't like.
I had an
I'm trying
8-point
to think.
lead, 9-point lead.
What could? Well, I mean, if I guess this, if you told you, but it sounds like a stage one flavor text as well. It doesn't sound like a basic, but it could be a basic as well. Go ahead, read it to me one more time.
Its fin tips leak poison. Its fins and bones are highly valued as ingredients in herbal medicine.
Its fin tips leak poison. I mean, it could be quillfish. Quillfish also has fins. Let's go with what stage is the card.
It is a stage 1.
I'm locking in Dragology. We're just going all in on Dragology. There's no point in. I don't think I would ever be able to get off Dragology at this point, except for I could guess the set, but I'm gonna go for the extra point on this one.
Locking it in.
Locking it in.
All right. Azul locks it in, attempting for 3 points. And I will give the other 2 lifelines for those playing along at home. The set the card is from is Heart Gold Soul Silver Unleashed.
That is Dragology was not a Pokemon. Maybe we should have played for the 1 point.
It's not Dragalge Azul.
Not Dragology.
So Heart Gold Soul Silver Unleashed and an attack name, Razor Fen.
So it's. I actually don't even know. It's not the what's. It's not Gorbis, is it? Gorbis.
It's not Gorbis.
I don't
Yeah, I
think it's
thought
the
this one would be
poison
kind of
type.
hard by
Yeah.
design. This is Azul Seadra.
Yeah, I would have never. I don't think I'd have ever gone to Seadra being a poison type. Definitely not. I do
Well,
know the
it's
Seadra
not,
though.
so
Oh, it's not, but it just
no.
leaks poison.
There you go.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is definitely. That would have made it hard for sure. Man, I feel like Dragology fits that pretty good though. Fits that flavor text there.
It's not a bad one. Not a. I did kind of think when I read this one, I was like, maybe he'll just think it's Dragalge and go with that really quick. So it all went according to plan, to be
Yeah,
honest.
apparently.
Better luck.
Yeah, it all came together.
Better luck in 2 weeks, buddy.
This one actually saw play too, right? Is this the one that people played with Kingdra Prime?
Yeah. This one was played. I mean, or there was another Seadra too, I think, right?
Or, I,
That was like from a
yes.
Diamond and Pearl set. Yeah, this one, right?
I feel
I
like the
think
other
this
one
was the one that was. This one was the one that was played until the rotation
we got
happened,
yeah.
and then this one was had to be played because it was the only one.
Yeah.
I want to say. I mean, I didn't play back then. You would know better than me, but I have decks built that have this card. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think Kingdra was bad after the rotation, the mid-season rotation hit. Oh no, I guess no, that's not true.
It was played
Well,
at Worlds in 2011.
Well, yeah,
Didn't
people has like
Jaywitz get top 8 with
yeah.
it?
No, but there was like Kingdra decks at like 2010 nationals that played.
Yeah,
that
but they
Kingdra-
would have had
that
this
played the
Seadra, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, because that's Unleashed. It's not Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're maybe right. Well, no, because
Yeah,
Kingdra Prime didn't the Seadra come out?
the
with
Dawn
Kingdra
Fan
Prime?
Kingdra deck I have has this Seadra in it.
Okay. Wait, but
I'm
Kingdra
pretty sure.
that there had to be a Heart Gold Soul Silver Seadra.
Yeah, it was this one.
Oh, that's
this one is just better.
what is it? What is it? What set is this one?
This one's from Legends Awakened.
Yeah, but that's not Heart Gold Soul Silver on, is it? That's what I'm
Worlds
saying.
2010, dude. This card was legal. It was like Yuxi and like this is the same set as Yuxi.
Yeah, that card was legal, but I'm saying the other Seadra had to be legal as well, or am I losing my mind?
Yes. What is
Okay,
difficult
but
here?
no, but people chose. You're saying people chose to play the Aqua Pump.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This one is
I thought you
better.
were saying
This
the
one's
Muddy
better.
Water wasn't legal at 2010.
No. No,
Okay,
it
okay, okay.
wasn't. If I said that, I just meant it wasn't played.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
played this one before
That's why I
they
was
had to play
confused.
this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
Aqua Pump for 30, look out. Yeah, I feel like that Muddy Water's gotta be better, though. A 10
They're
damage
just trying to
snow?
hit some Donphan primes for weakness, dude. I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
Damage is damage. All right. Well, let's move it on into recapping Curitiba and then also talking about the Houston Regional Championships. But I guess before we do that, we do got to take just a moment to talk a little bit more about the Puerto Rico special event. There's actually all the lists are available now on Limitless. They were not a couple weeks ago when we talked about it. So if you want to see everything from the San Juan special championships, you can do so. It's also on Limitless Labs, which is nice to see. Actually, one thing I wanted to check how many there were just 2 Saraledge in day 2, and they
Jeez.
met in the finals, so that's kinda sick.
Yeah.
And then there was also a little more context added to Miguel's win here. Miguel Alejandro Hernandez Garcia, he's tweeted out that this is his original list that he played. It's different from the one on Limitless, though, because he had a deck check and his list was uploaded incorrectly, which led to me having to play asymmetric all the way through top 8 without Tarot or Briar. I'm not crazy enough to remove those cards. I just had a game loss and a stern warning from the event judges. Even so, I played the best I could with what I had. So that would be why Azul in the finals, when we were watching it, we're like, dang, this guy's got 2 Super Rod in his deck.
Yeah.
Like, what? He didn't want to have 2 Super Rod. He just uploaded the wrong list or typed it in wrong or something. Who knows?
But it is actually funny that, oh, no, it's different. It was actually funny though because Dre was in my chat and Dre played against Miguel at the event, and Dre was like, "No, Miguel's got Briar. I played against them." And I was like, "Man, we have not seen this Briar." Like, I was like, "But I trust Dre." I was like, "All right, the Briar's in there. We're playing as it. We're analyzing if Briar's in the deck, but like, where's that Briar at?"
He wanted it to
Um,
be in the deck.
this is an interesting situation. I feel like this does not line up. Like, I feel like if this happened at this is if other events that this has happened at has led to a DQ. I'm almost positive.
I
Like
don't
this is
remember that. You mentioned that earlier in the
yeah, I feel
podcast.
like this is I feel like it has. Like I feel like people have been like in day 2, they've had like the wrong deck list and gotten DQ'd. Maybe it
I
hasn't
feel
been
like
like
it
on
just
top
happens so
cut.
much less frequently now than it has in the past, but maybe I just haven't heard as many stories about it though. I don't know.
Yeah.
This situation used to happen all the time with paper deck
Yeah, because
lists.
you have to people had to fill them out manually. So
People would write 61 cards or 59 cards, right? Like there was very often you'd see people like not have a legal deck list.
I heard a story recently. I forget who told it to me. Someone had 5N
That was me.
written on their.
Well,
Oh, that
I
was you.
didn't have the 5N, but I told you that story about a friend who had
Yeah.
5N.
um,
Yeah, he wrote
I'm not.
3 in one spot on the deck list and then 2
Yeah.
in on another spot of the deck. Like, how that happens, I've got no clue, but that's what he did.
This one's actually kind of tough for me. Usually, I'm like in favor of like the players, and I don't think Miguel cheated. I don't think there was anything malicious, but there is a point where like competitive integrity. Like I was even saying like earlier, like theoretically, we don't actually need any rules in the rule book besides the time rules. But because of what players might mess up or what players will try and get away with, then you need to start adding rules to a rule book to like cover for those situations and hypotheticals. I am actually struggling to like I now I don't know for sure how this would rule at like a different event. Like if you take this exact same situation, put it in a different tournament, I don't know if the judges would be more lenient. I feel like this would have been a DQ at a equal level tournament, just at a different tournament. I don't know why this
At a
wasn't a DQ.
regionals.
Yeah, like I feel like I've heard stories about people like having the wrong deck list in day 2, getting deck checked, and then getting DQ'd. And I honestly don't think that's unfair. In this situation, I almost feel like Miguel should have been DQ'd. So usually I'm like, you know what? Let the players play as much as we possibly can. And I don't think Miguel did cheat or do anything malicious. I think it's an unfortunate situation, but I actually disagree with the ruling as of right now, based on like what I feel like I've heard in the past and the way things have been ruled in the past. And even if like ignore that, if you asked me that question, it's like from a competitive integrity standpoint, I feel like this kind of needs to be a DQ. Like I don't think you can let this player play the wrong deck list this long in a tournament. Like I don't know, maybe you can like, how do you come to the determination that you don't think they were malicious? Like, it's like so hard to get to that point that when you're this deep in a tournament, and I think it should depend on how deep in the tournament you are. But we're going into top cut at this point in a tournament, like, So at the very least, like moving forward, I want to see consistency. I think that's like the one thing we always want to see is consistency, right? So
Mhm.
Miguel wasn't DQ'd here, but the next time I hear about a situation of someone just like in round 11 of day two getting DQ'd, it's like, what are we doing at that point? Like, I doubt either player was malicious or cheating. So, like, why is Miguel not being DQ'd, but this other player's? Because I feel like I have heard those stories, and someone can correct me if like maybe I'm like making things up and like misremembering, but I feel like I've heard stories about players like deep into day two, not even into top cut, getting deck checked, and they get DQ'd because they have a wrong deck list. So let me know comment section down below if anyone else has any anyone knows what I'm talking about, if I'm remembering correctly or not. But
One of
yeah,
my
it's tough for me. This one's tough to be honest. Because I don't want to like you almost always I always just want to let the players play more Pokemon, but this one's definitely tough.
Uh, a funny thing about this as well is that someone literally just copied this list and got day two in Curitiba, even though it's like not the list that Miguel would have actually been playing.
Yeah.
So another addition to the limitless entry.
Yeah.
One story that I always think back to whenever these type of situations come up is a friend of mine, Eric Smith, at Virginia regionals in like 2018. Um, he played like the
Wrong.
first 6 rounds with the wrong deck. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find it real quick. I guess
That
I won't be
one's
able to find the wrong deck. He
I
literally
remember
so
that
he
as well.
submitted like a Septile GX deck, started 5-0 or 6-0 or something ridiculous like that, which it was crazy because that was like a not a real deck.
Yeah.
And then he had actually submitted Blacephalon as his deck and had to switch decks. And they let him switch decks. Like he literally it
Yeah.
wasn't like change one card because you wrote the wrong thing down. He submitted the wrong deck entirely. And so it's obviously a situation it's like, and this happens all the time where people are like day before the tournament, I'm going to play one of these two decks. I don't know which one. Okay, I'll just go with this one. And then he just like went with that one, but then like thought he
Forgot to
went with
change.
this
Yeah.
one, right? And so again, another situation where it's like definitely, like, I don't think anything malicious was happening, right? But it's like he played 30% of the tournament with one deck
Yeah.
and then played the remaining 70% with a completely different deck. Absolutely one of the craziest stories ever, I feel like,
Yeah.
with,
And one thing I will
this
say
situation.
one thing I will say, like, just on all this stuff in general, is like I don't mind things changing. I don't mind the standard changing, but like from what I feel like I was like accustomed to and what I had heard happening, what I kind of agreed with as well, it seems like like what Miguel not getting a DQ is like pretty far from the norm. It's not like, ooh, this is like a slightly different ruling one way or another. We still
Yeah.
want consistency here. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering. And like, listen, if this is going to be the standard moving forward, I don't know. I don't know. This is like one thing where it's like I almost argue against this being the standard moving forward, I guess as well. And listen, once again, I don't think like I mean Miguel won the tournament. The tournament's over. Not saying we should like take him away Miguel's win. Like I said, once again, don't think Miguel was cheating. Don't think there was any malicious intent. But there does need to be like a competitive integrity standard that is upheld consistently. I feel like this maybe crossed that line for me. Irrelevant of what's the norm in the past. It just feels like there's like too much tournament's been played with what was not submitted. Like we just have to at some point, like yeah, I mean, we say like there's only gonna be so much negligence sometimes, right? At some point, you just got to get DQ'd. Like we know you didn't cheat at all, but you've drawn you attached your 10th double energy over the last 5 rounds. Like you just got to go. It's like too much. Regroup, go to your next tournament, go from there. But I don't know. It's interesting the way that one ended up breaking down, and it makes sense now why there was no Briar to be found when I was watching the stream for sure. That
Yeah.
is some clarity on that is nice for sure.
And then I'm just updating our last prediction,
Mm.
which was from this event, how many Pokepad would be in top cuts.
I think we just said top 8. I think that's what
Oh,
we
we
did.
did say
Top 8.
top 8. You're so right.
Yeah.
I think it was 13.
What was mine? 16 years or
You
17 or
said
something like that.
16, I said 17, I think, yeah.
We were just like yeah.
There's
If the
quite a
two
few outside though that were in ASIM.
if the two Sarah Ledges that made day 2 weren't both in the finals, like we were
Yeah.
pretty close.
If you look at this list, this Grimmsnarl list, they got 9th place.
Got it all voluminous.
The mega last,
Dude, this is
dude.
where the propaganda is coming from because like people in my stream keep saying, like I'm sitting here theorizing around trapping a monkey dory in the active, and they're like, that doesn't even work anymore because Grimmsnarls play Luminous. And no, I've yet to hit a Grimmsnarl player on the ladder playing Luminous Energy, but this is where the propaganda comes from for sure. There is a Mega Frostlass in this build from William with the 3
William was
lunar.
just grinding ladder before the tournament, and like that's where it started, is because everyone was hitting William constantly on
Yeah.
ladder, you know.
It's actually interesting to see that, but no Moltres actually for the Golden Go matchup. Like, if you're
Mm.
gonna go that far, I feel like
Well, dude, and that's the thing
that's
as
the best.
well, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to Houston. I don't think anyone cares about Golden Go right now. It's still been a pretty popular deck. It obviously also did just win Curitiba, which we'll talk about here in a second. But like the discourse and discussion online, nobody's talking about teching and caring about Golden Go right
Yeah,
now. It feels like.
definitely. And I mean, I guess we might as well start talking. What else do we have more stuff to go over first? Or are we gonna talk about the results from no, we're ready to get into it, right, Curitiba?
Here we are, buddy.
Here we are.
Curitiba, and the event was won by Matthias here with a really interesting Golden Go. Now we've seen this pop up a little bit. It was like a group of Japanese players at a Australian regionals. I want to say is like the first time we kind of saw this
It was a little
version of the deck pop up.
it was a little bit further actually. It was a 2 or 3 Champions Leagues ago. Shintaro got top 32
Okay, yeah,
with a build like this. So that yeah, that's like the first time. So it's been around for a little while. We've been seeing it pop up here and there. I mean, but this is like its first big finish, I feel like for sure with this placement. Actually, we looked at a list like this at from EYC. Someone was playing at UIC, and we were like,
yeah.
"Yeah, how do they find anything?" But I actually have played some games with the deck, and actually, you choose first. Like you just try and get Soul Rock Lunatone into play, start lunar cycling, and the deck actually runs pretty smoothly. I did play some games with this build that Matthias played and we used to win the event. And yeah, you choose like that's what's really nice about playing a build like this is everyone's gonna let you go first, especially on PTC's live ladder. Now at a tournament, it's gonna be a little weird when like you win the coin flip and you pick first, and then your opponent realizes you're playing Golden Go, and then if you beat them game one, they have to like think about that for a second and be like, well, they're playing Golden Go and they chose first. Do I choose? Do I choose first going into game two? And the answer is yes. If you play against this build of Golden Go, I can't even think of a deck I'd want to go second with. But they're not getting the Soul Rock. If they don't open the Soul Rock, they are not attacking you turn one with Soul Rock. It's just not happening. So choose first most of the time against this build. There's maybe some matchups where you'd want to go second, but that is, I think, one of the big strengths of this build. Is I mean, going first is just really good right now because everyone else is choosing second.
Yeah, maybe like a fan Rotom deck would still want to go first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, but you want to go first against them anyways. You mean
Right.
second? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you would
Still
still
going.
choose. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be choosing first anyways. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
choosing
I'm
first
trolling.
anyways.
I'm trolling. But like, would a Gardevoir or a Dragapult all of a sudden want to choose first against this?
I think so. Yeah, like they're not going to put on the pressure. Like, and this deck relies really heavily on lunar cycle, like being an extra lunar cycle deeper in towards like building up when they're evolving and stuff. Like I think you would maybe Guardy not, but like Dragapult probably would still want to go first. I don't know. Getting off that extra lunar cycle is like a pretty big deal by the time you need to start doing things.
Let's look at
And that's
some of
like
the metagame stuff real quick before we get too much deeper
yeah.
into the deck lists and such. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off there a little
I was
bit.
gonna say like that's like another big point. If your opponent wins the coin flip and then they choose second and then you beat them, they're gonna choose second again. Like that's like there's such a strength of playing a deck like that. A deck that wants to go first against the majority of decks.
Well, also
Right
most
now,
people as well. Like if you win the flip and choose first, and then like
they still
you
might choose
win, a
second.
lot of people are
Yeah, they're
still
gonna
gonna
choose
just choose
second.
to go second. They're still just gonna pick the thing that their deck likes to do.
Yeah.
Not an adjustment enough people will make. But yeah, let's look before we get any deeper into the decks. Let's look at the metagame overall for the event. Poltenor leading the charge and 17%. Dude, I said this a couple weeks ago. I'm not gonna be surprised when Poltenor is 20% at Houston.
I could see it for sure. It's just kind of the deck right now. The deck got so much better with Pokepad. And honestly, I haven't like been in like super try hard investing time. I don't like a lot of the lists that people are playing. I don't think people are going hard enough into the Pokepad. Like I think Triple Duskull is super strong right now because Pokepad finds your Dusclops and Dusknoir so much better. So I don't think the full potential of the deck has really been unlocked either. We might see that a little bit more at Houston.
Did you see
I even saw
Julius's list that he
yeah,
posted?
Julie, like that. I was like, man, I love this. Like, this is something different, more aggressive. The deck can lean into that so much more. Like, that's even going further than I went with my build. Going real like, I mean, this is like a go first list. Which once
Yeah.
again, I talked about going first. Get that Monkey Dory out of there. That guy's trash. But besides that, like, I don't hate this. Like, I feel like the deck is so much better with Pokepad, and like leaning into a more aggressive build like this is just so good right now. So I don't think Dragapult's full potential has been untapped or
No
locked yet.
Badoos, buddy.
Now I don't know about that. Like if we go second, we might still want to hit him with that do. Well, maybe not though, because we don't want to waste our energy attachment either, right? We don't have Latias
Exactly.
in here, so
No Latias, no Dew, no Blood Moon or Saluna.
yeah, attach to a Dreepy and turn 2 Candy Dragapult. You might still need Latias in here just so you can move your active Dreepy on that following turn before you evolve it to a Dracloak. But yeah, something like this. Like this is like I
Move it
really
into
like
what,
this.
bro? Rare
Well, just
candy
like
attack.
if they don't take the knockout though, right? Like
Mm.
if you go second and you go attach to bench Dreepy, then next turn you want to go Candy Dragapult, retreat Dreepy, evolve to Dracloak. So you'd still maybe need a Latias for that situation.
Maybe the jet headbutt's enough right there,
True. Just get him with the headbutt. Set the tempo.
Bonk them a
Assert
little bit.
yeah, assert your dominance.
And then Enzork has been much more popular, and it did really well at this tournament too. We'll look at some of these top lists. The Golden Go falling down below 10%. Grimmsnarl still holding strong at 6%. The big surprise here, though, Azul Gardevoir down to 6, Jelly Guardy down here at 2%.
I put
People are not playing Gardevoir right now.
the parry and the variant grouping all on. So what are we at? Like, yeah, just
7.
7.7. Yeah. Charizard's more popular. What? What how is Charizard more popular now? What the heck? Yeah. That's like I don't know. It's kind of we'll talk about this more as we get towards talking about Houston, but yeah, Gardevoir it definitely got weaker, right? Because Gardevoir didn't really gain anything from the set, but a lot of other decks got some tools to play with. So Gardevoir, honestly, Gardevoir might kind of be like evened up with a lot of the other meta decks. Everything
Dude,
is like
what
it's like we're going into these last couple tournaments in this format, and everything's like max strength. Zoroark got the buff, Bulk got the buff. Like,
what if H Chow's rolling up, not playing Gardevoir in Houston?
nah, he's gonna play Gardevoir for Houston, and if he goes to Orlando, he'll play Gardevoir again, and he'll probably get a top cut in one of the two. I'm sure. I think Gardevoir is probably fine, and we did see Gardevoir still show up, right? Juan there with the Jelly Guardy build,
Yeah.
third place. And it's like nothing too crazy in the build. Had to make it Iancy, which feels like almost essential, to be honest. To probably compete with Zoroark. No Drifloon was a little bit of a surprise, I
Hold up.
guess, as
Let's
well.
see. We got any
Spectre.
Spectria? Also, I found out its name is you say it's Spectria. Don't know
Spectria.
why. Spectria.
Nah, Spectrier.
You know, I don't
Yeah, I mean that's
disagree with
pretty
you, but
24th place, top 32. The Spectrier. I mean, you can do some interesting stuff with it. Like, I don't like it has a lot more synergy with Monkey Dory than Screamtail. But like its ceiling is obviously lower just because like you can't put a Brave Charm on it and really swing with it. So 1/1 jelly in this build too. But
let me
yeah,
see.
the card's interesting.
Here you go.
Spectria.
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 And this is Glasstria. I don't know why.
I mean, they should just spell them differently then if they're gonna do that. It doesn't make any sense.
It's got to be something about like whatever the language root of this name
Yeah,
is,
sure.
right?
Astria, Spectria.
And then we got Golden Go here, just under 10. Charizard, holding strong. Absol didn't really
There,
change much.
yeah.
That's about where it's been, right?
It had its like peak at Seattle, but it was definitely gonna come down from Seattle, right? Like
Maybe a little bit of an uptick in the Sarah Ledge. Was that a 1% deck?
I
It's now 2%.
think it was 2% at Seattle though, wasn't it? Or was it 2? Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it?
You're kind of lagging
I
out,
think it
buddy,
was.
by the way.
You hear me now? My
I
back.
mean, I hear you, but you're just a
Yeah.
little bit of a robot. Sarah
Oh,
Ledge
okay.
was 2%.
Yeah. I was still there. It was kicking.
All right, I think we got Azul's technical problems sorted out. It's always this guy, always something with this guy, to be honest.
I think it's actually mostly you or
What? No, come on. All right, so let's
the
keep it
voice.
rolling here. Look at some of these lists. We talked about Matthias, first place. Golden Go. We've got Javier with Zork. And Zork, before we get much further, did really well at this tournament. Javier
Yep.
here playing it, and then Pedro Pertusi, William Azevedo playing in Zolark, a deck I don't think we've seen them play before. They've always been they've
No,
most recently been Gardevoir players, previously Charizard enjoyers, of course,
pretend
changing
the
it up though.
Flareon didn't happen at New Orleans.
And yeah, now on to the ends Zork. Obviously, a deck that got a huge buff with Ascended Heroes. And then Marcos Cifuentes also playing it, got 10th place, which was in top. I think it was what, a 14 player ASIM bracket? Yeah,
Something
14
like that. Yeah,
players.
it was up there. It was pretty big.
So yeah, let's look at some of these Zork lists. Start with Javier's. He's got the 2/2 Darmanitan and a split of the Reshiram and Zekrom. And I feel like that's
Yeah,
one of the biggest
questions.
uh yeah, it's one of the biggest conversations I see happening amongst Zorak players online is, do you play just the 2 Zekrom? Is Reshiram worth playing still? 1/1 split, is that acceptable? Got any
I
opinions, Azul?
I feel like the Russian Ram. I feel like it's like pretty weak. Like it's not that good into Dragapult to have as like a, oh, they punched me, I'm gonna punch them back. If you just set up your Monkey Dories, you're gonna get the 1 hit KO through a Petron or a Black Belt's training anyways through the Zekrom. The other matchups where you can make an argument you'd want it are the Mega Absol matchup and the Charizard matchup, but most of it kind of comes down to like if they know you don't play it. Because like if I just like set up a Zekrom and swing on you and leave a bench space open, what are you gonna punch my Zoroark? I don't think so. Like even the possibility of Turo is like pretty high if I've seen enough cards. So it's like even if they do it, I don't know how much I care. And if they don't, and then like they have to like make that quite they have to make that risk, right? Yeah, I don't know. The end stretch round I feel like is like not I'm currently not that big of a fan of it in the deck, but
All 4 of the top cut lists did play it.
yeah. I think it might be a hard card to move past. I think the one list that makes a ton of sense for, though, of course, is Cifuentes' list. And Cifuentes did not have the Darmanitan. Like, if you're not playing the Darmanitan, you probably should have the Reshiram,
Yeah.
right?
And then the Azevedo and Pertusi list, they had just the 1/1 Darmanitan.
Yeah, no reversals. So they had a little bit. And maybe there's a little bit more of an argument for the Reshiram in those situations. But yeah, overall, the Reshiram just seems kind of weak. Definitely seems kind of weak.
We're kind of losing you, buddy.
Again, it's just.
It's a little cooked.
Yeah.
Why don't you just let me talk about
I
the
don't know if
next
it.
deck?
All right, talk about the Zoroark.
You mean
Yeah.
the Gardevoir? I was moving on. I don't know. Do we want to?
The next guard war.
I mean, I don't know how much more there is really to dissect here of the Zoark lists. Let's see, Mark. Let me just pull up all these in separate tabs here. We can bounce around. So Pedro and William here. We got Javier first because he got second, of course. I mean, all playing Energy Excel, right? Of course, with the PP up, but Pedro, William, and Marco all also had the Janine's secret art as an additional option. Also, one other thing, just like archetype worth noting, is that they are all like Badoo Cyrano builds, right? No technical machine evolution. So they're all trying to like item lock turn one as opposed to TM Evo turn one.
Yeah, all Cyrano's. Am I good now? Can you hear me? Is fine.
Yeah, it's
A
fine
little
for now, but
sketchy.
it does sound a little sketchy, yeah. But it's not
Okay.
robot-y.
Yeah, the one thing I was gonna mention with this is basically I feel like Liam's list from Seattle, right? Or not even before Seattle, the one before Seattle, EYC, right?
Yeah.
But it has a Zekrom in there with a 2-star Manatan, double reversal, has the Badoo, all that kind of stuff, and then Pertusi, William Azevedo's list's a little bit different from that, including Darmanitan, but not making it like a focal point of the deck. So they probably have like a weaker Golden Go matchup, which is something that you were talking about. Like, we're just giving up on the Golden Go matchup. Obviously, having Zekrom is nice. And then you go to Cifuentes' list, and I actually don't know how we're beating Golden Go. I don't think we are with this build. I don't see it. I don't see the vision here. But I mean, Golden Go didn't have that good of a showing at this tournament in general, so maybe it was a good meta call
Yeah.
there. Besides winning the event, like
Yeah.
besides winning it, like it was okay.
Yeah. And when we say like obviously, yes, the deck won the tournament, but when we say things like it didn't have that good of a showing, like if you scroll down, like it's not there's not that many of them
Yeah,
compared to how played the deck is, right? And we've been
yeah,
saying that about Golden Go for a minute as well, right? It's like there'll be maybe one in top 8 or top 16, but there overall Golden Go has not been performing very well the last few months. There were two Gardevoir cuts, one Andre with the Guardy Jelly. Um, Nothing super crazy in this build. And then we did also have, where was it? Oh yeah, Andrew here with Straight Guardy.
I did have Drifloon, a couple Bravery Charms. Yeah, pretty vanilla build.
Then we did have Victor Fritas with the Poltnor, as well as Joao and Angel also playing Poltnor. See the Pokepad counts. We got 4
Ooh, let's
Pokepad
go.
in this list. Let's see what else cut down. I don't know.
The nest balls are gone.
Yeah,
Only 3 Ultra Ball. That's what I'm saying. Like that is like one thing about it as well, which is kind of scary. Is like
buddy.
it's not. Oh my gosh, it's doing it again. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the worst, but it's not like
Oh,
ideal
okay.
for sure.
Is like the Dragon Ball decks aren't even becoming that much more item reliant. They just also get to play Pokepad basically, which is like the scary thing when you look at these lists. I guess this one has even gone like
This one
further
only
into like
has
the
2
support.
Ultra Ball.
Yeah, 2 Hilda, 1 Dawn though, playing a little bit more
Yeah, the
heavily.
Dawn helps you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Make up for like losing that stage 2 search, I feel like, right? Because that's really like the reason for Ultra Ball in the deck is like to find your stage 2s basically, and then also Pheasantipity.
Yeah, Latias as well. Latias like the big one in the early game, of course, but
Yeah. And then Angels list down here did have the 1 Candy, 3 Pad, 3 Ultra Ball. Nothing too crazy here, it feels like. Oh, that was another thing about Julius's list. He had no jamming tower, the one that we were talking about earlier.
hmm. But if you're gonna be more honestly, Jamie Tower is a little bit more of a defensive card. If you're getting aggressive, I don't hate it.
And then we've got Yerko remaining on his Raging Bolt, staying committed.
One Pokepad.
You
One
know
thing I
what?
will say that is yeah, huge upgrade here for Yurko with his list here with the inclusion of a single Pokepad. One thing I will say though is it does make those double Noctowl turns way smoother. When you can instead of having to go Noctowl for Ultra Ball plus a piece, you don't have to go Noctowl for piece plus Pokepad for your second Noctowl. Like, yeah, you just have to sacrifice way less resources to make those big turns happen. They don't happen that often. Usually one Noctowl kind of gets you there for your turn. But whenever you have to do that extension, like you just don't have to give as many resources to get to your big play, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And then rounding out the top 8, we've got Marco with a Frostlass Monkey Dory build. Oh, the Frillish, love to see that. Interesting
Yeah.
there. With the Lux Cape as well, that was something you were liking. I know you worked on this deck a little bit yesterday on your stream.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your thoughts on the deck after playing with it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think the deck is pretty good. The one matchup I'm most sketched out about is the Dragapult matchup. If that matchup actually isn't that good, like all you need is like 50-50. If you just feel like you have a 50-50 in that matchup, then I feel like the deck's really good. If you're feel like you're solidly unfavored against it though, then the deck is like definitely a lot better, but in the meta game, it's not that strong of a play. So I still have some question marks about the deck just because my experience with it isn't as high. But if you feel confident in the Pult matchup, this deck seems like really, really good right now.
And then right outside of top 8, but in top cut, we did have Crustle from Frederico. Now, this is a deck that
Crust.
made some waves recently, and it's been a lot of discussion about it as well. Heading into Houston, Gardevoir is not being played very much. Is Crustle low key the play this weekend?
It could be for sure, honestly. Or like it's like where we'd have those moments with like I feel like Crosslaw has had so few moments because Gardevoir's been so good for so long. Like when there was like stall Snorlax and like other wall decks. I'm trying to think of like the last wall deck we had. What was it? I can't even think about it. But there'd be like times where I'd be like, "Yep, it feels like it's really good for Snorlax stall or
Like the
this wall
Mewtwo v
deck."
Union deck.
Yeah, but for like Crustle, it's like Crustle really hasn't had a tournament where it's like, "Yep, Crustle's really good right now." Because it's like, well, you can't win the tournament if you can't beat Guardy. So how good it really is it? Like you can maybe get lucky to get top cut. We even saw in Seattle, I feel like the deck lined up pretty well. Was one win away. And arguably, like if you resimulate that Joltik matchup a couple more times, I think Crustle comes out on top, more often than it loses. So unfortunate finish to that round for the Crustle player in Seattle. So we almost saw one in cut. Like one of those things where it's like should have seen one in cut. Obviously didn't, so it doesn't really matter. But see one in cut here. I think it kind of comes down to if enough people just show up with the deck, to be honest. If they show up, it'll be there.
You hate to see it, honestly, dude. That's the last thing. My one tournament a year, I'm gonna have to deal with a swarm of Crustles invading the event. Holy cow, man. Then we already talked about Marco's. We talked about all these lists except for Jonathan here with the Mega Kang. This is a deck you were not super hype on at this point in the format. Don't feel like it has a very good Zork matchup, right? Oh, dude,
Yeah.
he's got your boy in the deck though. Look at this.
The Tatsu gear.
Tatsugiri makes an appearance.
It has a Tatsu in there. I do like this
This is
take
the
on the
same 60
deck.
Diego played as well.
Yeah. I do like the take on this build with the cornerstones. Like you need an aggressive answer to Zoroark. And I feel like cornerstones plus Tool Scrapper is pretty cool. Tool Scrapper deals with a Mochi. Also, like I think Guardy has to adjust to be more aggressive on average to deal with Zoroark. So they need to be going more the Braver Charm Drifloon route, which so Tool Scrapper also kind of collaterals there. So I think Tool Scrapper is like a really cool inclusion. But despite that, I mean, we could see the Zork players adjust. So it got its top cut here, but like moving forward, I'm definitely a little bit questionable about it. But I do really like this build. I like this feels like all right. This was like the build you needed to like play for this tournament. Go back to the cornerstones, get the tool scrapper involved, deal with some of those mochis. So it was really cool build, really nice inclusions.
And then just looking down the rest of the top 32, we do see an Alakazam. This is the deck, man. It just keeps popping up. A top
Close
32
every time.
here, a top 16, and one or two mid into top cuts. It's there, bro. It's there.
Almost there once again. Not quite. I don't know if they were on the winning in or they won up. I feel like usually the players who are outside of cut, but like in top 16, they usually won up to that slot because usually if you lose your winning in, you get top 32 or top 64. So, not sure where Felipe
Tied
was.
to winning in.
Mm, that is unfortunate. Almost then. Pretty
Dang,
close.
just needed one more win, really,
Yeah.
somewhere along the way here.
Yeah, I actually had a couple. Man, and oh, that feels bad to tie the Pult Blaziken. I feel like that matchup's got to be pretty good. Because Pult Dusknoir is a whole different story when the Dusknoir is like threatening you and you have to bench Psyduck, you lose a bench space. But when the only threat is the Blaziken. Well, unless it has the baby Blaziken, I guess then you have to bench Shaman anyways.
Hang on, I gotta figure out who. I saw someone. I don't know if it was Otavio himself or if he just saw this. There was someone who literally played against
Mm.
3 Slow Kings in the first 3 rounds of the tournament. I don't think it was Otavio. No, he tweeted it though. I saw it. I gotta find this page.
Was it that? What were they? Do you even know what they were playing?
No, I just saw the clip,
Oh,
the
you should have clicked on
picture.
the Slow King players. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how I gotta get there, and I gotta click on their like first 3 round opponents. I don't know if this is the best way to necessarily do it.
You're
But there was
probably
someone
there.
out there, some poor soul played against 3 Slow King to start off their tournament run.
You know if they beat the Slow Kings at least?
They
Or was it just
it was
their
a 1-1-1, literal perfect setup. Beat one, lost to one, tied one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is one of those. See, like people complain about bad matchups. Well, you hit 2 Dragapults in a row. Like, what are you talking about? When someone hits 3 Slow Kings, you know what? I'll be like, you know what? That's kind of unfortunate. The people who complain about bad matchups, it's like, man, I played against Charizard, Gardevoir, and Dragapult today. It's like, what? You hit 3 Slow Kings in a row. I'll let you. That's okay to complain then. That is like reasonable for sure. Kip is
Yeah.
hunting these Slow Kings down.
Dude, I want to find.
Oh, there
Oh,
it
here we
is.
go. Caio Caesar Silva playing Zoark, played against
Oh my
three slow
gosh.
kings to start the tournament.
Dude, what is this? Hit 3 Slow Kings, then hit back-to-back Igors, 5, 6. A curse. This is a cursed match history right here for Kaio.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's like you play the first one, the first round, you're like, okay, whatever. This like low tier meme deck, whatever, it's fine. The next round, your opponent flips over a slowpoke. You're like, okay, what is going on here?
You
And
get to win
then
this time, though.
round three, dude, you're like, where are the cameras? Right? Like, who is recording this? Am I being punked? Right? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Like,
Oh my gosh.
what a run.
Yeah. What was it? Slow
Um,
King's meta percentage? I'm actually curious. Like, what was the overall meta percentage for Slow King?
Meta share slow king 0.83.
Oof. Yep.
Someone do the
Not happy.
numbers. 1,449 players in your first 3 rounds. What are your odds to play 3 players? There, how many people were there? Best way to figure this out. 12 people out of 1,449. 12 people are playing Slow King. What are your chances that you randomly get paired into those 3? And then another factor there to consider is like that they
Slow King's
all would
probably
have
not
that record
winning.
as well.
Yeah.
They have because they
At
have
the
to have the same
time.
amount of match points for you to play at
Yep,
that point
yep.
in the tournament.
Even if we just like remove that factor, the odds are so low. Like if we just take it as a point, as we take it as 12 into whatever
Yeah.
round after round.
All right, well, let's move on. Well, I guess we should recap our
Predictions.
predictions
Oh,
quickly.
and is it the first time ever one of us has gotten all 3 predictions correct? Possible.
First one was how many Frost Last Monkey Dorian top cut? Azul said 1. I said 2. It was indeed 1. Highest placing Sarah Ledge. Azul said top 32. I said top 64.
Shout out to opponent's resistance on this one for sure.
We got Ludwin here getting 32nd place. Exactly top
Ooh,
32 compared to top 64.
insane, insane.
Getting there by 0.03% Azul.
Oh yeah, we have
0.03%.
those numbers right. We can see the number right there. I didn't even like think we could be. Oh my gosh, so close.
0.03. And then finally, pick a player to make cuts. Oh, I went with Giovanni Sasso, and he got 16th, but did not have a good enough record to get in the top cuts. But someone who did was your choice, Pedro Pertusi, with the top 4 finish. Kind of an insane season for Pedro, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going pretty well so far. Especially after like I think he had a pretty quiet season last season as well, right? So like rebounded this one. And yeah, he's been killing it so far. One, of course, LAIC, top 4 here. Does he have another cut or 2 this season? Maybe as well, not quite. Still pretty good though. Other cuts,
Yeah,
but
just the
I
one.
mean, you can't
Yeah.
complain. Can't complain for sure.
He's already made double what he made last season in cashes.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the IC win will do that for sure. That is I mean, just that alone was
Yeah,
more
Grant and
than
I,
the
whenever we were
previous
traveling
season.
back from when we were traveling back from Seattle, we were like going down the like top earners from the last 12 months, and I was like having him guess like who they were and stuff. And it's literally just everyone who's won an IC or worlds. Like all the world champion
Yeah.
people are up there, and it's like it's just so much more money than the regionals, like
Yeah,
even
it's a
someone who's
lot.
winning. Yeah.
What do you get for winning original? 10K?
10K.
5K. Yeah.
Got to win 5 regionals to tie worlds. You got to win 2.5 to tie an IC win.
Tough. Man, the prize pool actually dude, even when I like was competing more, I didn't even like know the prize pools or anything. But don't you get like 5K for top 16 in IC? Or am I
Yeah.
trolling?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
that's
no.
like
I think it's less than that. I think it's 3K. I think it's
I think it is 5.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's 1K for top 32. Actually, I think it's 1K, 2K, and then 3K for top 8.
I'm trolling. Wait, for top 8 at IC?
Oh no, no, no. Sorry,
Top 16.
I was saying it regionals.
Oh, I was saying IC, IC.
Yeah, my bad. That's my bad. You did say that. I'll
Yeah.
pull it up right now. Yeah, top 64 in IC is 2K.
Yeah. Dude, we
Yeah.
just like, yeah, top 16 is 5K at IC. Dude, that's like just
Oh,
kind of insane.
oh yeah, 5K. Yeah, 5K.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for how far we've come from like
Top 32 at Worlds is 5K.
yeah. a lot.
That's
That's
a
a
lot.
lot. Prize pools have bumped up quite a bit.
Buddy, you got passed. You were the second highest earner all time. You got passed.
Dude, this man goes to like every tournament, bro. Like, what do you want me to do, bro? Brent is like, he's international with it. Literally, what's his name? World, he's Mr. Worldwide.
He's Pitbull.
Yeah, literally
Pitbull
Australian
IRL.
pitbull out here, bro. Like, can't hang with
Do you think
that.
anyone will ever catch up to Tord?
Yeah, I think so. I think probably at
I
some
think
point.
I think he'd have to stop playing
He
for someone to catch up to
Yeah, I
him.
guess he could be playing for a while. Well, I don't know. I could see Brent like Brent goes to more tournaments than he does these days. Like Brent is not as good as Tord, but like
Dude, it's a
he could
70K
get there.
difference though.
Yeah, but the prize pools are so much bigger now than they used to be. Like you say that, but like a lot of Tord had to win a lot more tournaments to like make that gap. Brent doesn't need
Yeah,
to
but
win
the
that many
thing
more
is
tournaments to
like,
catch
yeah,
up to
Brent
him.
Brent could win. Like, let's say Brent
Why he's two ICs away, basically. Like,
two IC dubs.
yeah, he'll get to one of those eventually. He got a second place, like what last season?
And which dude, Tord's placement rate at ICs is insane.
Is pretty
Like
good, yeah.
he's guaranteed to add 5K basically at any IC he goes
Towards
to.
like average placement at a tournament is pretty good. Except for Stuttgart kind of hurt his average actually quite a bit.
No, if you look just specifically at ICs, dude, his
That is
IC,
insane, yeah. It's like looking at Ross's Worlds finishes. Like that's like the
yeah.
only comparable thing I can think about.
Like he doesn't have there's okay, 46th place, you
That's pretty
know.
bad though.
But it's like all these ICs and he
Yeah.
like what? There's no like, top 256 or like top 128 or anything like that.
He got on the flying Pikachu wave a little bit too late at that Melbourne. The flying peak Lugia. No, yeah, no, he's got an insane record at the ICs for sure.
Dude, how do you remember that? What the heck? What kind of poll was that?
Because I remember, I
Oh, I guess you
remember.
won this tournament, right? Yeah, that made
Well, yeah, but Ryan Antonucci played against him. And Ryan was rooming with me and the guys for that one. So we talked about it after he beat like he like I don't even remember the situation, but he like just like played like he didn't have an out and then he had an out to get around the Pikachu. I don't know what we had in there to get around the Pikachu, but
rope or something.
something. Just
Was Ryan playing y'all's list?
yeah. So whatever. He didn't have out to KO it. He just had something to like get the last prize card. What does Sky
Oh.
Sealstone do? I don't remember what that card does.
You take an extra prize card on your opponent's Pokemon V Star or V Max whenever your basic Pokemon V attacks it.
Maybe he stoned him. I don't know.
Well, that would be pretty impressive. It's basically in this deck was only for Drapion to take 4 prizes on a Mew V Max.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that would have been insane if he actually got him with the stone.
Yeah,
That'd have been
because it
crazy.
only works on Dragonite or Drapion.
Yeah. The deck was pretty cool though, looking back at it.
Yeah, bro, but you could have been playing like Pokestap Forest Sealstone, like.
I don't know, but when you look at it, like, why is there two cram?
Actually,
Maybe why?
Pokestop didn't exist. Actually, I don't think. Now that I'm looking back at this.
I'm pretty sure it did, right? Wait.
Oh yeah, it
Oh,
was
it
at
did. Yeah, it
Worlds
did.
22. Yeah, Worlds 22 is when
Yeah.
it came out. Yeah, yeah. Pokestop Forest Sealstone, dude. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing here. Putting the V Pokemon in play was so bad. But you could just like turn one Raikou there, Lugia, I guess, and just be ahead in the prize exchange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could go second and just KO their like their only guy, and then they don't even set up.
Yeah, they just lose. Back it up. Cooked.
All right. Well, now we have Houston to talk about this weekend. I mean, first point, we wrote down a few things we wanted to talk about. All the big decks. Is Zoroark a top deck? And I think it's pretty safe to say it is.
Yeah, I think for sure. I don't think it's probably. I mean, you guys will have to wait and see. Maybe the deck is a little bit more stronger. I think it's like kind of even the playing field though. It's not like the next Guardy or Polt, and obviously we don't have enough time for that to really probably come to fruition. There's so few tournaments before rotation hits, not even just this format. So I think it's on there. It's up. It's in the same tier as like now that it has a Zekrom, it's in the same tier as the Polts, the Guardies, the Charizards, Golden Goes, whatever. It's in that category. Although, I mean, talk about a little bit more here, but Charizard, I'm not sure how good that deck is right now, but just like in general across the board, I think Zork has finally like arrived. It's there.
Yeah, it definitely feels solid, and um, it feels like people are pretty similarly aligned on how they want to play it. Besides Marco, his list was obviously pretty different, I think, but like the other lists from Curitiba seem pretty similar. It seems like that's maybe the way that people are going to be leaning into it.
Yeah.
Next one is Frostlass Monkey Dory a contender? Been just a couple tournaments in the format. It's gotten top cut at both of them, both San Juan and Curitiba. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Like I said, I think the biggest question mark for me still is like Dragapult's going to be the biggest deck. How confident are you in your Dragapult matchup? I feel like every time I ever discuss that matchup with anyone, people are like, "You just hit him with the Frostlass and you double team Devo them," and then that never happens. It's like they item lock you with Badoo and you can't find anything, and then they beat you. So I don't know that matchup. I'm like, I would need to like revisit to be confident in. Like the retreat locker can be really strong in that matchup. I don't know where people are really at with their Turo count in Dragapult because like retreat locking is not that good or popular right now. So if they don't have the Turo, that's going to be a little bit better, obviously. Yada yada. So yeah, that's like the it's hard for me to say yes. If I said like if the Dragapult matchup is at least 50-50 to maybe even just like slightly unfavored, I'd say yeah, I think that deck is really, really good right now. Because I think it has a good Zorak matchup as well, on top of everything else.
Are we going to see a good performance from Crustle this weekend?
Yeah, I think there'll be one in Top Cut. I think one Crustle they'll slip through. I think it really comes down to how many people decide to show up with the Crustle, but like
Are you teching for Crustle
Garvors.
if you're playing in this tournament? Is there really even techs for Crustle?
I mean, if we just said there was, I mean, the decks that you'd have to like think like I mean, honestly, all the top decks just kind of lose. Like, I don't even think Dragapult beats it, like the quad Crustle build. I don't even think the Dragapult decks beat it with their cheesy Dusknoir lines where they're attacking with
Zork's got
Dusknoir and
shred
stuff.
now, not enough.
I don't think so. They're like one hit KOing you. I mean, they're two hit KOing you, I guess, but like they have four jumbo ice cream, like hitting them for 110. You're just gonna run out of mochis before they run out of ice cream. Like I think you'd have to tech. Like if you're a Zorak player, but like if I'm a Zorak player, am I teching for Crustle? Like there's gonna maybe one in cut. Can I just dodge? Can Henry Chow please just beat the Crustle and cut so I can win this tournament? Like, uh I don't think I am. I think there's enough. Like I don't think that many will get through. So then you're just hoping you just don't end up with it against it in the bracket. You're hoping the bracket takes care of the Crustle more so than anything.
But
I don't want
like
to be the person responsible for taking care of the
when
Crustle.
we back it out and look at like the top 32, is there going to be more than 3 Crustles in the top 32?
I don't think so. No, no.
Will there be 3?
There could be. There could be three in the top 32. That one has shocked me. Yeah, I'm not sure where like it's sometimes hard to get a read on this. Like sometimes you can make that prediction and be like, oh, this deck's about to spike up to like 3%, whatever, meta share. I don't
Its
know if we're
meta
gonna see
share
that.
probably still won't be that good, but its conversion will probably be pretty good.
Yeah, the conversion will probably be pretty decent. Mm, right, the meta share is probably not gonna be super high. But even if it gets like 2%,
Maybe if I'm just trying
percent,
to make day 2, bro, maybe I just got to roll up with the Crustle, you know.
that's a pretty safe bet to make day two for sure. That would be a safe bet. Crustle is literally one of those. And dude, if I hear any Crustle players complain about I hit two guard force in a row, it's like, bro, that's like, come on. Like, you're not the slow king player, bro. Lock in. You're like you're just you like I hate the term matchup roulette, but that is what you're signing up for with Crustle in like a way where you should be very content. If you hit three guard force in your first 3 rounds, okay, we're gonna go sightsee and get some barbecue, right? Like what happens? That's like a pretty reasonable thing to happen. It's not too far out of the realm.
Is Golden Go being overlooked right now? It did just win Curitiba, but I'm kind of the opinion that like nobody cares about Golden Go right now. And oftentimes when that's the case, a deck could be set up nicely to do well if someone wants to take advantage of that.
You lose to Crustle with it. Actually, that's not even true. You can play the Lopunny. You could beat you have a good Crustle tech, actually. And I think probably would play Lopunny if I was playing Golden Go. Um, I want to say yes in terms of I think there is like a little bit of a gap in the meta for it to take advantage of. Like the concern for Golden Go is like an all time low. Maybe it does get, but it's like such a quick turnaround, right? Like we did just see this new Legacy Energy build kind of really be put on the map, but there's a weak separation between Curitiba and Houston. Like are people if that many people are going to pick up that new build? No, and then it's not going to be the top players as well. So it's like I feel like the there is a gap in the meta for Golden Go to take advantage of, but I don't think it's going to be taken advantage of because I don't think any top players are picking up Golden Go and playing it for this weekend,
Well, there's
or
been a
we're
pretty
playing it ahead of
there's a
time.
group of like good American players who've been playing Golden Go like through this whole last format.
There's not no one, but it's not that many players. It's like a pretty low number of players.
Yeah.
It'll be a pretty big event, a lot of top players. I don't think gold. I think it exists, but I don't think it's gonna be taken advantage of. Like I could see Frank rolling up for a top cut, but like there's not that many names I can call to that I think would roll up and be able to get the take advantage of the lack of techs for Golden
When
Go.
it comes to talking about the best deck in the format, we've basically exclusively been talking about Gardevoir for the last 6 months or so, if not more. But is it time to give that title over to Dragapult? Was Pokepad enough to make Dragapult the best deck in the format?
I actually think the playing field has just kind of just been evened out a lot because of Zoroark. Like I think Zoroark's like on their level. And if any deck is like maybe a tier lower, it's maybe Gardevoir. Like maybe Pult and Zoroark are the top two, but I don't know if I'd put one over the other. Actually, honestly, maybe I would still give it to Pult. Like Pult's like unless Pult has a bad Zoroark matchup, which is something I'm not like. It's not something I've like played that much one side or the other. Pult is a lot faster now with Pokepads, getting your Dusclops and Dusknors, of course, and then Zoroark. Obviously, you can one hit KO Dragapults like on your own terms. You don't have to wait for a Dragapult player to punch a Zoroark for you to one hit KO a Dragapult, right? So, um, yeah, I think it's just like they're like on a more even playing field now. But I guess like Zoroark's though, like, are you going to put in the text for Golden Go? Otherwise, you have a worse Golden Go matchup. Guardy players are going to be built to handle Zoroark better now as well. So I guess maybe honestly, I think I would like breaking it down like that. I think I would give Pult the edge. I think Pult maybe is just the best overall deck in the format.
Was Saraledge's performance in Puerto Rico a fluke?
Um, I don't think so. But not that there's like a vulnerability in the metagame for the deck to take advantage of, but like once again, similar to Golden Go, like I don't think. I mean, if Ross shows up, if Ross made cut, that wouldn't shock me. Miguel shows up, and made top cut, that wouldn't shock me. But there's just not that many Sarah Ledge players, right? Especially have like a high caliber. So it's like I don't think it's a fluke, but like I think we kind of both said the same thing last week. That's why we predicted a top 32 and a top 64 from it at Curitiba, because it's like we could see it going further, but just like there's not the amount of player. There's no one playing it, and especially at a high caliber, there's like basically no one playing it at all, right? So yeah, I don't think it's a fluke, but I don't think we're gonna see a performance from it.
Looking at some of the other dark decks, have Grimmsnarl and Absol fallen off?
Um,
Well, I think you think Grimmsnarl's been fallen off.
it's currently in like it's constantly falling. It
It's
just
falling
goes,
even further. But
yeah.
looking at the results, buddy, there's been 2 Grimmsnarls, I think, in each of the last 2 American top cuts
I
or
don't know
North
how,
American
bro.
top cuts.
Dude, I might have to come back to the game. If the game is this soft right now, we got Grimm's making cut, bro. It sounds like it's kind of free
Dude,
out
you
there.
like you say that stuff all the time. It's like and you show up what was your placement at Toronto?
Top 128.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Better than
Welcome
me.
back.
Better than most of the Grims at the tournament, I think. So I got that.
Let's count how many Grimmsnarls
Oh.
finished ahead of Azul.
Ooh. I did beat both Grimmsnarls I played against. I will say that. I did my part. I'm pretty sure I did anyways. I actually don't remember fully.
Scroll down to Toronto. Dude, was Toronto that long ago? Holy cow, it was.
Yeah, I beat both the Grims, bro. I took them
Dang, there
out.
was only 2 Grimmsnarls that finished better than you as well. And they both got top cut. They were the 2 in top cut.
Wait, what? There's actually that's it, dude. What the
Yeah,
heck?
you got 100th place.
And those Grim players got so lucky. If you ask them, they would admit it as well. They got so lucky, bro. There's no way they didn't get so lucky.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
Grim. Yeah, I think Grim. Like, you gotta be your Zorak matchup. Historically, was favorable. It's got to be worse now because you just have less strategies that they like. It's probably still favored for Grim for sure. I don't know. Pult got better. Like, are we adding? But does everyone have to play Badoo? Is that like your main strategy against Pult now to like slow down the Dustnors and Dusclops that are on the way? Is like you have to get into Badoo early. Most people were playing. A lot of people have Badoo anyways, but I don't know. I don't like not like nothing really changed for Grim. Like it just feels like it's a mid deck. I guess okay. The one thing that I guess like changed for Grim is I think Absol is not that good. I do like the list from Jonathan and Diego. I like their list, but I don't think it does enough overall to give you like a solid Zoroark matchup. And we could see the Zoroark players just decide to tech for Cornerstone as well. I don't know if they will go that route. So yeah, and that was like one of the Grimm's worst matchups was the Mega Absol deck, right? So if that deck does suffer, which I think it does, I think Zoroark's got a way better Mega Absol matchup than it did previously, then it's gonna be a little bit harder for that's gonna be good for Grimm. There's gonna be less Mega Absol succeeding. But overall, Grimm is just such a mid deck. I'm just like still not a big fan of Grimm. Still not a big fan. I don't know. So yeah, I don't think either deck is great right now. I think Mega Absol was like really, really good. Pre what do we gain? Pre Send to Heroes, but post Send to Heroes, it's fallen off. I think quite a bit.
Any sort of bounce back from Charizard after it's not done well these first couple tournaments? Or
Um,
is I mean, I don't know. It just feels like it's probably tough for Charizard in this field of 20% Polt potentially.
yeah. Frostlass Monkey Dory is a deck now, right? More
Gardevoir is
Frostlass in
less popular
general.
as well, which was one of the big reasons to play Charizard.
Yeah. Zork has way more lines against you now. Like it already felt like the Liam Halliburton build was like pretty good against Terrazard. I think you'd have to go away from Terrazard as well. Because like the Zork decks, they're all playing Darmanitans and Watchtowers and Badoos. Like you got to go to like the TM Evo. Either if you want to keep playing Dusknor, you play the Hermione. The name's eluding me right now. Who's the other European player who plays the deck all the time and makes top cut?
Oivend.
Yeah, you have to play the Hermione Oiven build, or go to like a no Dustnor build. But the Hermione Oiven build is probably the style you have to go to. But even then, that Charizard just like for all the reasons you just listed, it just feels so weak. And Crustle, you got to deal with Crustle now. The crust is coming for the Zard, so not the crust. So
Stay
yeah, it's
crusty.
that's tough for Zard. Honestly, I feel like taking like a hard L to Zard, if that is a factor in your deck choice, is like a really good meta call to make. I don't even know if that's like that good of a meta call. Maybe it's a little bit obvious, but yeah, if you take a hard Altazar, don't worry about it at all. Basically, 100% fine.
Well, let's make some predictions. Azul for the tournament this weekend. First up, what will be the highest placing Crustle? You said top 8 earlier. You sticking to that? Top cut?
It'll be in cut. The question is, will it lose in ASIM? Where does it hit the guard for? Dude, it could win all the way. It probably won't.
That's
It
what
probably
happens
won't.
a lot in top cut. Like
They just got to get
so-
the bracket.
it's like whoever, yeah, the player who gets the better bracket.
Um, it's gonna get a good first round match. It's gonna lose in top 8. It'll be top 8. It'll either bypass ASIM or win in ASIM and then lose in top 8.
Dude, you know what?
Oh, no
This is
way.
it. A
No.
Crustle championship run. First place Crustle. That's the timeline we're living in. Honestly, I might switch to the deck. Maybe it'll be me. I'm gonna roll up
Chip
with
is the
Crustle.
Crustle.
My one tournament a year.
You want to do that to yourself? You're gonna roll up and play the
No,
crust?
definitely
No.
not. I do
Oh,
not want
okay.
to do that.
Are you gonna? You can't win the tournament then unless you tech for it. It sounds like so you're not planning to win the tournament.
That's
You're not
true
gonna.
because I'm saying it's gonna win, right?
Yeah. So you
So
have to pick either tech for it or you don't win. You have to. You only have 2 paths before you.
listen, buddy, I'm just gonna take it one round at a time, and I'll try to win that one round and go from there.
Dodge the crustals. All right. I mean, the big deck from last weekend, right? Zoroark. So the question is not just will it make top cut for sure, right? I think it's like how many will make top cut. What do you think? We had 4 at Curitiba.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a
So
decent amount, honestly. Probably some pretty good
a
Zoroark
lot of good
players showing
players.
up.
It finally won't just be Liam and Labella rolling up
Yeah.
with Zoroark. It's gonna be
We're doing
a wider
top cut, like
range.
ASIM, not just top 8, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it could be up to 16 potentially.
Yeah, probably between like 8 and 4, probably like between 8 and 14. I'm trying to like look
It's
for
probably gonna
a
be more around the 12 range, I would guess, with this size of tournament, right? Based on what we've seen in the past.
I was trying
12,
to find
13.
like a reasonable comparable tournament.
Something with like 27, 2,600 players, something like that.
Oh yeah, like well, Las Vegas was 16 with a bubble out, right? No, it was no bubble out. Clean 16 was Vegas. So
And how many people were at
14,
Vegas?
29. So it'll be like
It's probably
200
not that
less.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah, maybe 13, 14. Okay. I'm gonna say
Ooh. Milwaukee was 27 with 10.
I'm
Give
gonna
you a
say
reference.
there's three.
I think 3 is a good prediction.
Three Zorg and cut.
This is one of those things where I could just see Zork actually just being like of a it's just like a kind of on another level. And I feel like this would be a thing where it's like it's going under radar in general in the community because I haven't seen that sentiment that's like, oh, Zork's like broken. It's like the deck. But I could see it actually being broken and being the deck with like in terms of like people understand it's good, but no one's like teching for it. And then when things adjust, it probably gets like brought down to like a more reasonable level. I'm gonna go 10% cut. You said 3. Man, I kind of want to say 5. I'm gonna say 5 Zork.
Jeez. That's a lot. That's a big difference
That is a
between our
lot. And honestly, that
predictions.
that does line up pretty well for your Crustle prediction though, because unless they're teching for Crustle, they're losing. So
Pick a player to make cut.
hmm. Okay, actually, I've given this one zero thought.
Oh, I know what you're
So
picking.
I have not thought about it at all.
No,
What does that mean?
I typed it in for you.
Oh, what'd you put? Chip Richie? Nah, you're not teching for Crustle. You're gonna lose. You can't win the
Well, you
tournament.
don't know if I'm gonna play a deck that can beat Crustle naturally.
That's true. You might have the natural Crustle dub.
I'm just playing Gardevoir, of course. That's the deck I'm known for.
Genius.
My 30-year-old dad brain definitely has the mental capacity to play
I wish I knew
Gardevoir.
if which foreign players were actually attending this one. I don't know like if any Japanese players or European players are going to this one. So I'm gonna have to guess good old American, I think, on this one. Go American.
Okay.
I don't have one. Do you have one?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, go ahead. You're up.
He can't win the tournament, and he's not going to make finals, unfortunately, because obviously the Crustle is winning in
Yeah.
my setup. But he'll be on the wrong side of the bracket to hit the Crustle in the finals. And it's going to be Henry Chow, because I think this tournament is just set up too nicely for Gardevoir. People aren't really thinking about Gardevoir too much. Its play rate is pretty low. It is still a broken deck. He's going to be ready for all the Dragapults, right? He's going to have a great Dragapult matchup, I'm sure. He's going to.
No?
I don't know if there's something to think about necessarily with the Zorak matchup. Maybe some sort of like Devo thing. I don't know if that's necessarily worth going down that route in Gardevoir right now, but yeah, I'm gonna
I
go with
feel like
Henry
this
Chow.
is I think it's a pretty good prediction. I think this is a good meta. Well, there's two things that could happen. I think either the meta is too wide to try and like. But I feel like the meta, like like Pult and Zoroark are like the top two decks you have to worry about. So I feel like
Yeah.
that does lean towards like a specialist like Henry Chow with the guard four. Um, man, I don't know. I don't even know who to pick to be honest. I just don't know. I don't know who for sure is going to the tournament. Man, I like guessing like foreign players usually. And some players you just can't. I can't even pick like Jackson Ford. I can't pick him. He's gonna play if he plays Charizard. It's just there's no way. So it's I can't.
I believe in you.
I honestly don't want to pick someone who would play guard for. And also, I feel like
Pick someone who
Liam
would play Crustle.
Liam would normally be a good shout, but now everyone's on the Zoroark thing. So he doesn't have like a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's on the Zoroark. So it's like still a pretty safe bet though. All right, I'm gonna go with Liam. He's got some new tricks to work with.
That's normally my
Sure.
pick, dude. I've picked Liam like all season, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like this is like a weaker tournament for him to like take advantage of though, because like more people are going to be doing the Zoroark thing. So it's like he's gonna have to run into more mirror matches. So maybe he's got a mirror tech though. Maybe he's got a cool mirror tech besides playing better. So
All right, Azul. I think that's it for our episode this week. Those are our predictions. You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here to the bonus episode?
nope, that's it. Close it out.
Thanks so much to everyone, as always, for listening. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave us a like, a review, a rating, a comment, subscribe. 5 stars helps us out a bunch. We're really close to 15,000 subscribers, by the way, on the YouTube channel. So if you've not subscribed on the YouTube channel, if you listen every week, check to see if you're subscribed. If you're not, click the subscribe button. Would help us out a bunch and let us get there for totally arbitrary reasons that are actually meaningless in the grand scheme of life. If you want to stay up to date with myself and Azul, the best place to do it is over on X. You can follow myself at ChipRichie, Azul at Azul_GG, and you can follow the podcast at Uncommon_Energy.
Yeah, appreciate the support as always, and we'll catch y'all next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Eastern.